On this episode of the DTVC podcast, we've got Ty from Comeuppance on, and we're going to be doing John Cusack on the Skids. So we'll be looking at Pursuit and River Runs Red. So stay tuned for that. So getting some. So we've been meaning to do Cusack on the Skids for a little while now, and what happened was Pursuit was in Star's Purgatory for a while. I think Ty watched it, and then it ended up getting bumped to Tubi, or it got bumped off of Tubi and ended up on Star's Purgatory. And I missed it. I didn't get a chance to watch it in time, and so we tabled it. And then when it became available, then it was like, all right, let's do this Cusack on the Skids. So so Mr. John Cusack is on the Skids here, coming up in just a few minutes. And then in terms of upcoming episodes, I've got to get some more recording in. One note about that is I discovered my router is starting to go. It works well enough for us to use the internet to be able to like stream movies and things like that, but doing kind of live recording sessions with guests and that kind of thing. I discovered it actually when I was a guest on the Lambcast episode. We were using Zoom because, again, as I mentioned in the previous episode, we're all moving off of Skype, and because of that, they started using Richard Kirkham, who runs that podcast. He was starting to use Zoom, and while I was on Zoom, I was just noticing the entire time it kept saying I had low bandwidth, and there were times where the audio would cut out on their end, and then I'd have to wait for it to come back. And there was one time where he mentioned that I had cut out when I was talking. I thought, okay, this has got to be an issue. And and then at work, I was doing a call on work, doing a video call, and same thing. I noticed that he mentioned it. He was like, "Hey, Matt, you're cutting out a little bit here." I looked it up, and it does sound like my router. It's over 5 years old now, so it's probably time for a new one. But that's probably what it is. But I did catch on the previous episode that I did with Jeanette Ward. Overall, that episode is fantastic, and there really aren't any issues. But you will notice my voice will either sometimes speed up or break up in parts. And what happens is the difference between Skype and Zoom when it comes to that kind of thing is Zoom will just cut your audio off and just pick you back up when your internet's ready again, whereas Skype will kind of slow things down and sort of speed it up to try to catch you up so you don't miss anything. So essentially that's what happens is my voice will sometimes start to speed up as it catches up with the internet. And so you might catch that a little bit, but I'm hoping to get a new router here this week. So I was looking into possibly renting one from Comcast, because Comcast has sort of the router modem combination, because that's what we use. I guess, what do they call it, a surfboard? But Comcast charges $15 a month for that. And so it's like, if I buy one new, like if I spend like $100 on one, it's paid off within 6 months compared to what I'm paying Comcast. So it's just, I'm just going to get a new one here. So hopefully we'll get that soon, and I'll be up to, doing live recordings here again and all of that, because I need it for work anyway. So we got to make that happen. But just a heads up on that my internet's starting to go. You may have noticed in past episodes, I have noticed, I don't always get a chance to listen to the episodes that I record for the show, but I have noticed on some of them my audio has been a little bit off, and I think that's why. It's that the router is just having trouble keeping up with everything, because I didn't realize 5 years is a good number for routers, I guess, and so this one's about 6. I believe it was 2019 we bought it, so it's closing in on 6 years now, so it's probably at the end of its life, so we'll make that happen. A lot more than you wanted to hear about routers, but I guess you just want full disclosure, keeping you up to date on what's happening with the podcast. And then in terms of the site, you're expecting probably not another mistake, right? Or something for Richard Norton. Didn't end up actually watching it, unfortunately. So last week, if we went, I was out of town. It was my birthday on the 1st, and so I went to go catch a Yankees game, and then my week just kind of ended up never quite catching up. Even though I had the whole day off on Wednesday as well, I just never quite got back to it, and I think a part of it was the first week of Major League Baseball, so I was watching a lot of games, and I wasn't watching the movies as much as I should have been. And then it's like, okay, Saturday came, and I was like, oh, I need to really get something in here. I had already watched Pure Danger, and I figured that's going to do just as well. So hopefully this weekend we'll do not another mistake. If not, again, it'll be something else that I already have in the can, and we'll get to it as soon as possible. But I know Richard Norton, he does deserve that memorial post in honor of his great achievements, and the fact that again, he's no longer with us. So I will try to get that as soon as possible. So we'll get that in there soon. I think that is everything in terms of the site. So even with my rambling about routers and modems and surfboards and all of that stuff, we're still kind of in under 5 minutes here. Before we get into the episode, again, I want to mention my novels. My newest one, Nadia and Aiden, is available on Amazon and Kindle Unlimited, and paperback. Actually, when I was on Lambcast, when I was talking about the book, when I was doing my plugs at the end, Richard Kirkham mentioned that he really liked the cover. He thought the cover was creative. So, hey, cover's there. the thing I always say about my books is you don't have to read them. You can just buy them and have them on your shelf, and I get the money either way, right? And the thing is, you don't even have to buy the book to put on your shelf. You can buy it for your Kindle, and I get almost the same amount of money as I would if you got the paperback. So there are a lot of ways that you can buy my books without bothering to read them. And I would love it if you read my books and gave me some feedback and all of that. That would be fantastic. But you don't have to. You can just buy them, and just buying them is more than enough support for me. So I always appreciate that. And if it's not Nadia and Aiden, my first novel, Chad and Accounting, that seems to be one that people like to start with. That seems to be one people like to buy. It's probably the most accessible of my books in terms of reading wise. You don't have to be as invested when you're reading it. So I do have a little bit. If you notice from my style of writing on the site that I can be a little bit dense in my paragraphs and dense in the way I put things together. So that is something, my prose has the same thing, but Chad and Accounting has less of that, and so it's probably the most easily accessible of my books. And so, if you want to check that one out instead, that one's always a great one too. But the link to my author page is in the description here, as is the link to Nadia and Aiden. So again, happy when anyone wants to pick up any of my novels. But for right now, we're going to have John from Miscellaneous Plumbing Fixtures and After Movie Diner play in our theme song here, and then when we come back, Ty from Comeuppance Reviews will be talking about John Cusack on the Skids. Hey everyone, welcome back to the DTVC podcast. As always, this is Matt here, and I am joined by a very special guest, Ty from Comeuppance, for his monthly spot on the podcast.
Hey,
welcome back, Ty.
thanks for having me back. I appreciate it very much.
Exactly.
Right
Yeah.
there.
Yes, and we have kind of, it's a slightly melancholy open because
Yeah.
just this past week, one of the greats left us, Mr. Wings Hauser. And for people listening, Ty and Brett were both on the podcast in November of 2020. We did an episode called On the Wings of Love. It's episode 78 in the archive, so it's a little bit far back there. But that's where I couldn't tell based on the description. It sounds like almost like maybe you had your list and then Brett and I just commented on it, but I'm not sure. I might have had a list as well. So,
listen back to that. It was 5 years ago. Wow.
I know. Can you believe it? Almost. Yeah, almost.
Ooh,
so, so for people looking for more Wings to watch, definitely check that episode out. We did that, but yeah, Ty, what were your thoughts on Wings Hauser?
Well, it's sad to hear he's gone. And I thought, well, let me think. What was the first thing I watched with Wings when I worked at the video store? I think it was No Safe Haven.
Mm.
And then it's like, wait, this guy's pretty cool. I like this Wings Hauser guy. And then I found Art of Dying, Killer's Edge, Cold Fire, Mind, Body, and Soul.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how about you? What was your first?
Well, I was going to say it was Mind, Body, and Soul for us. That was the first one. I mean, No Safe Haven, that is quite a first Wings. I think for people listening, that might be. I mean, you mentioned some great PM ones in there. For example, like Art of Dying. But man, I think No Safe Haven. If you can find that one, and it looks like it's on all the free streamers. If people aren't familiar with Wings, that might be the best first Wings to do.
I just happened to when I was just looking around, there's stuff to rent, and it's like this looks kind of cool. What is it? It's like, and I never really knew much about. Oh, Deadly Force. I need to rewatch mine also.
Yeah, that's a great one too. Yeah, because No Safe Haven that starts off with a really great chase, right? With Branscombe Richmond from Renegade, firing Uzis at people and stuff like that, and things are blowing up all over the place.
Yeah. I remember. I miss Body Six Killer. I miss Renegade.
Yeah, I don't. He's Branscombe, and we've only seen him when we've been doing these two movie episodes. We saw him on Paradise City, where he played a Hawaiian guy who was running for Senate. Yeah.
It's
Uh,
amazing. And John Travolta maybe dropped somewhere on a volcano or whatever what happened. But it's like what?
yeah. Exactly.
I always think
Exactly.
about that part, and also the hilarious punch, or in quotes, a punch that Steven Dorff gets, which is
Right. Yeah, that's it. For people looking for some recent Branscombe Richmond, that's an interesting
sure.
one. But I mean,
We'll go with your wings. So what was your first
yeah,
one?
I mean,
Was
Mind,
Body
Body,
Body
and
and
Soul
Soul?
was the first one that my friends and I, it was one of those 10 movie DVD packs. And
Mm,
we just thought, like, kind of similar to you with No Safe Haven, where it's like, we just thought it was so great. We had to get every Wings movie ever.
yes,
And yeah, he has so many great ones, especially in what we call that sweet spot, right? That 87. I mean, No Safe Haven was 87, but that kind of 87 to like 93, 94 range. Wings is as up there as anybody with great stuff.
that's a great point. He's pumping out all the stuff all the time. He has these horror things too. And like, wow, he always had something out. And then he had this show. I was looking up his filmography today. Lightning Force. It's very. Did you ever heard of this show?
I heard of it, but didn't see it.
Never had chance. I looked it up on YouTube. There's one episode on YouTube in full. It's a 25 minute action program. He plays like a soldier of fortune with
Yeah.
a team of renegades or whatever. It looks cool.
Right,
Great opening too.
we could have used more of that, right? We could, Wings, because Wings, he did like kind of every TV show you can imagine, but
That's right. He did Airwolf.
did Airwolf, that's right, did an Airwolf episode, A-Team episode, like around that. Actually, it's the same year he did he played, I don't know if he played the same character. He's in two episodes of A-Team in '85, that same year as he does Airwolf. And so I don't know if it's the same character he's playing or if he plays another. I mean, but yeah, I mean, he was kind of doing everything there, and it's kind of a shame that his own TV show didn't take off.
I know. Wouldn't it be great? And what's the other thing? Oh, he was in an episode of Hunter, of course.
Yes, yes,
I think
yeah.
when Hunter wasn't writing a desk, it's like,
Right. Yes.
like
Yes.
he was on.
84. Right. So I think he starts writing the desk a little bit later into the 80s.
That's amazing that he rode that desk for 5 seasons, Hunter.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, it just got funny after a while.
What you could get away with TV back then, and the idea that like Fred Dryer just having his name on the tin and having him, or not, I guess it wasn't the tin, it was on
Well,
the
I know what you
TV
mean. Yeah,
guide.
yeah.
But yeah, like that was enough to get people to watch the show. And I guess it was, I guess, cable had become a thing, but cable wasn't as big of a thing, I guess, at that time, that people didn't have as many options as they do now. And so maybe that was part of it, was that you could have a show kind of hold on, and it was almost like better to like have Dryer at the desk than to have nothing at all. But I mean, nowadays they would have just ended the show. They would have been like, okay, that's it.
What's funny is like, oh, okay, maybe this next season he won't be running a desk. Oh, I guess he is. Classic Dryer. Well, Death Before Dishonor, that's a classic with Fred Dryer. There's not a Fred Dryer podcast yet.
No.
Um,
Yeah.
I might buy a Fred Dryer movie. It's called Stray Bullet.
Mm,
I've never seen it. But I saw a trailer on some Roger Corman tape I watched. Robert Carradine and Fred Dryer. Like, oh, Fred Dryer. Maybe because so when he uses the dryer, it's like, hey, that's me.
right.
It's like
Right.
it's a washer and dryer.
Right.
Like, I
Exactly.
do something.
Yeah.
It's like or Cryer, John Cryer and Fred Dryer, Cryer and Dryer.
Right. I love that. I love
But
that. Yeah. And of course, for New York Giants and I guess LA Rams, he played more years with the LA Rams than he did with the Giants. I didn't know that. So, yeah, football fans out there, good old Dryer, you
and
know,
yeah, but to go back to Wings for just another minute, Seed of
yeah,
Firebase Gloria. That was a
yes.
really good one.
Yes, that was a
Yeah.
fantastic one, and
Yeah.
and again, that's around the same time as these TV shows he's doing, and I think that's one you can get now on streamers. It wasn't available
Okay.
for a little bit, but it's there now. That would be another one to see, I think, if you wanted to get like some really good
Oh, good
wings
point.
that you haven't seen before.
Because I know if you look at his filmography on IMDb, it says known for The Insider of whoa, ooh, Al Pacino. But I mean, like I remember Wings Hauser being in it.
Yeah,
I think he's like not in a montage. Do you ever see the movie? It's like
a long time ago, right? That's the tobacco one, right? That's the one
the
where
tobacco one, yeah.
yeah. and so he plays one of the lawyers.
Yeah, I kind of remember that. Yeah, it's like, hey, look, it's Wings Hauser.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny when you look at his top four because it's like you said, it's the Insider, it's Rubber, which was actually kind of a good one, a recent one that he did. I say recent; it was almost 15 years ago. It's
I know.
2010, but
2010 feels like recent to me. I mean,
yes,
look at as you mentioned in maybe another podcast or so that I had 2010 nostalgia, now 2025 nostalgia.
right,
But
exactly.
is that possible? From yesterday? No, but go ahead. Yeah. So Rubber and what was the other two? I forget what was on his IMDb.
Vice Squad, which he has a really
Oh,
great
well, that's
performance there, is Ramrod.
yeah, Rara. That's like a top Wings performance.
Yeah, exactly. And then Tough Guys Don't Dance of all movies, which I just reviewed on the site recently. I mean, kind of canon film, Golden Globe. It's directed by the guy who wrote the novel for it, Norm Mailer. And it's kind of known more for the crazy Ryan O'Neal scene where he's just like,
Right.
"Oh God, oh man, oh God, oh man,"
Yeah. Oh
it's
my
not
God.
really
Oh
known.
man. Yeah.
But,
That's
I mean, I feel like you could find a better Wings Hauser movie than that one if you're going through his list of four, but maybe not. I mean, for us, like you said, for us, a No Safe Haven, An Art of Dying,
Art of Dying
Living
would
to
be
Die, of course, with Arnold
Living to Die.
Vosloo.
Oh, Living to Die. I know you love Living to Die.
Yeah, that's like it's one of those. It's my kind of one. It's in my personal PM top 10, and I think
Mhm.
yeah, it's one that I just have always loved that one. He's just kind of driving around Las Vegas saying things like, give me a beer give me a whiskey with a beer back, or somebody's putting the bite on Mitten and stuff like that. There's like that
Yeah,
saxophone
Mitten.
playing. Yeah,
You're right.
right.
Asher Browner, right?
Yes,
Uh,
exactly.
I mean, that's what we used to do in the old website days. And it's like we just had Asher Browner movies or movies of Harrison Muller Jr.
Yeah,
That's all we had. It's just
yes,
like
right.
American Eagle, Living to Die, Merchants of War, all these Asher Browner movies.
Yeah.
That's all we had. You have to start somewhere. I got to start from Asher Browner, from the Ashers, maybe.
Right, exactly, exactly. Well, then I mean, obviously he does the AIP film Wilding with Joy
Yes.
Travolta.
Yeah, George Orton, Wings Hauser.
Right,
You watch that
exactly.
shit.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
love that movie.
when you look at that, when you start with No Safe Haven in 1987,
Mm.
and I mean, because that's the same year that Tough Guys Don't Dance comes out. I mean, you could go a little bit further back, maybe do like Hostage in '86, but I think if you start,
Hostage. Yes. I remember, I think I liked Hostage. I think I rewatched it about 5 years ago. It's like, it held up because of Wings. It's a
yeah,
weird movie.
right. It's an interesting one because it's also got
Yeah.
Karen Black in it.
Right.
But yeah, when you go from No Safe Haven, you've got Dead Man Walking,
Yeah.
Nightmare at Noon, The Carpenter, Siege of Fire Base Glory, like you're talking about, L.A. Bounty.
I
I mean,
love
Bedroom
LA.
Eyes too. I don't even know where you put that, but it's there. Reason to
Oh,
Die, Marked for Murder. I mean, you really can't go wrong with any of these. Street Asylum, Cold
No.
Fire.
Street Asylum. Love Street Asylum. Oh, Marks for Murder is
Yeah,
hilarious. Yeah, because it's so terribly silly. Because that's
right,
Martin Sheen. Like, he just sits on a bench.
right.
It's hilarious. It's like, oh, look, it's Martin Sheen on a bench. It's like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
it's
I
best
think
work.
for people listening, if you're not familiar with Wings, I mean, go back to that episode. Go back to episode 78 in
Mm.
the archives. I think because we get into a good chunk of these movies here when we're talking about it. But then yeah, go into his filmography, and I really think that's the best place to go with him is between 87 and 94. And I would say maybe, yeah, not actually, because Victim of Desire was 95, Guns and Lipstick. Those aren't really great Wings ones. They're just kind of fun on their own. So yeah,
Right.
93,
Exactly.
94 is probably where because Champagne and Bullets is 93. Maybe that's where you stop it. That's
Oh,
where you
that's
go.
hilarious. You gotta
Yeah, I got
watch.
to see
He's
that one.
really good. So,
That's up on my list now. Now I really have to do it because now the Wings no longer with us.
yeah, that should move up the ranks if you can do it. I mean, it's so silly. It's like Wing's performance is definitely out there. I'll give you that. It's
Yeah,
like because then I feel bad for Cole Hauser. That's his
right.
dad. And I just watched K-ville, something I've been
Yeah.
watching recently. Do you remember the show? It was Cole Hauser and Anthony Anderson. They're like cops after Hurricane Katrina.
Yes, I remember the show. Yeah, I remember the movie. Yeah,
Which when I
yeah,
was
I remember
talking to
that.
someone, oh yeah, I do remember that. It's like, I mean, it's just okay. All the stories are kind of mediocre, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You're not really hooked in. And then I'm also watching Skin, another one of these canceled Fox programs. It's
Oh
Ron
yes.
Silver.
Right.
It's like
Right.
Romeo and Juliet for 2003, and because it's extreme. And Olivia Wilde throws CGI keys at people.
Right.
You can stop there. I mean, the movie's not movie. It was okay.
Yeah.
It's so freaking rushed. You got to watch the pilot. Like, wow, what's the rush? I mean, like, I
Yeah.
know you want to get these teens today of 2003. Like, there's like no step to anything.
Yeah. No, no, you're
Yeah,
right. You're
remember
right.
Skin? Yeah, okay.
I remember Skin. Yeah, I remember. I mean, the other thing with Cole Hauser is you
Yeah.
hope that maybe he gets some justice for the second, for Too Fast, Too Furious, that like they bring his baddie character back somehow. Because I don't think they used him in anything, did they? They didn't have him in like in any of the prison sequences or anything like that.
No, no, I just kind of forgot about Cole Hauser and that.
Yeah.
Or they forgot about him, you know.
Right, right. Exactly.
If you're mentioning 2 they got to mention that. So it's
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
and I guess the bingo card for today would be, oh, I guess we could mention Tyrese, but I haven't really checked in on any of his newer movies if they're out yet. Um,
No, he's got some. I saw him in Morbius recently.
that's hilarious in that.
It's even funnier when you consider the fact that I don't even know why he's in it. Like his
I heard
character
more.
barely does anything. He's like a police officer who's investigating Morbius, and he just kind of walks around and scowls a lot. That's really the
Uh,
bulk of it.
that's like his character in Bloodline Killer.
Exactly. That's a good point. They pretty much just took the Bloodline Killer. I guess it would. I don't know which way around it would have been. Like I guess I don't know which movie came out after, but it's essentially he's playing the same character. And then also, what was it? Uh, what was the movie that he did that with Scott Eastwood? Was it called
Oh,
Deceived or something?
1922 and Ray Liotta.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean
Yeah.
Dangerous?
Dangerous. That's what it was. Dangerous.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
made another Scott. He made two Scott Eastwoods. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And then he just it was just Tyrese is there scowling, pointing guns at people, and then he just gets shot and falls in the water, and that's it.
that's
No
it.
more
I
Tyrese.
remember that. It's like that's so okay. That's the kind of waste of Tyrese Gibson. The waste of Mel Gibson. It's a huge waste of Famke Janssen. She just sits in a
Yes.
car waiting for a train to go by. It's like,
Right.
I mean, that's hilariously lazy, but at least Mel
Yeah.
Gibson's like making us, making some stakes, which will come back later to our movies today.
Yes, we've got
But
stakes to talk about here. Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
we
well,
sure
maybe
do.
this is a good place for us to, anything else on Wings before we
Yeah, I just
venture.
hope people now that unfortunately he passed away, but now we can maybe dig out some of his old movies, rewatch them again, or watch them for the first time. There's a lot to choose from. Some are hard to
Yeah.
find, but I mean, most of them are available on streamers.
Yeah, and like you said, like that window, that sweet
That
spot
window's
between
amazing.
87 and 93, there are a good amount of those that aren't available, but like you said, a lot of them are if you kind of dig through the different streaming sites. And then of course, they are on VHS. And
That's true.
they're
I have a
not
lot
as
of them on
expensive.
VHS.
Yeah, same with me. It's kind of funny. At the time, I used to have this whole setup where I had cooked my VCR up to my computer and I could get
Mhm.
images from the
Right.
VCR. So I used to get a lot of these movies on VHS, and I don't even know where half of them are. If they're at my parents in the basement there when I moved down here to Philly, or they're in one of the bins here in our office when we moved to this apartment, and I really haven't unpacked anything yet. But
Understandable. I mean,
yeah,
that's amazing. I mean, like that's funny that we both collected all these Wings Hauser movies on VHS at the time.
yes,
Like, there's
yeah.
something about him. There was just always something. He had that kind of like he had the it factor. I thought.
Yeah, he made these movies, with these low budget movies, especially from this time period. Yeah, like PM, they could punch it up with a lot of action and that kind of thing, a lot of explosions and whatnot, and great, action sequences. But it really took guys like Wings Hauser. I say guys, but it took people like Wings Hauser to elevate these low budget movies to something much more enjoyable.
'Cause the perfect example, of course, is Art of Dying. I mean, like,
Yes.
what a movie! I got to
Eh,
rewatch it myself.
yeah.
I
Uh,
feel like
you
I
know,
just rewatched it, but
Yeah,
I'll look at
it's
my.
early PM, early days of PM. It's on YouTube. If you can't
Oh,
find it
there it
anywhere
is.
else, it's on YouTube. A lot of those PM ones are on YouTube. Some of his other stuff isn't as easy to find. Actually, it's on Plex as well. Um, Plex can be interesting. So if you're watching a PM film on Plex, I think it's Plex. There's a couple other ones. When you watch them on there, just make sure you catch somebody swearing, because that tells you it's not an edited version. Sometimes they
Yeah,
have the TV
John Cross
versions on.
telling us that
Yeah.
on the pod. Hey, I saw your pod was up. Steel Frontier.
We've good old Steel Frontier. Yes, that one is not edited. Whatever. So I think that was on Tubi. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that was a good one. But yeah,
Right.
Art of Dying. Yeah, and I think John, I was talking to John. I think he's looking to try to do Art of Dying perhaps for his Wings Hauser, in
Okay.
honor of him for PM. So I mean, I can't, that's another great one for people looking to do something in honor of Wings. Art of Dying. Like I
Yeah.
said, it's on Plex and it's on um, on Tubi, and I think. Yeah, I think it's like just there's not a lot of external reviews, but I think it's it's us, right?
Does,
You,
yeah.
yeah, me. I think did actually no, Mitch didn't do it. So yeah,
Surprise, but
yeah, we'll have to talk to him and
but
find out what he's got to
yeah.
get on there, do that, do some Wings Hauser.
One more thing I want to mention about Wilding, which is
Yeah,
amazing. That
right.
song at the end is like just like Pat Benatar, right? It's like
Yes, right.
I'm trying to remember this song. It's like,
Don't fight tomorrow.
oh yeah, yeah. I want to say don't fight tomorrow, but that's not the right tune.
No, it's
It's
like don't fight tomorrow or something like it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It was like very Pat Benatar.
yeah. Which I mean, again, you're essentially fighting against physics because yes, tomorrow is coming, whether you try to fight it or
How do you
not. You
fight
just
tomorrow?
yeah,
Well, and then tomorrow never dies. It's like the
right,
King's, yeah, yeah.
right, right, exactly, right.
Oh, hey, here's a classic. You've seen this one with Eric Estrada. Tuesday Never Comes.
Oh no, I
Uh,
haven't seen that one.
Crazy
No.
movie. There's like two crazy sequences in it. I should have asked Eric Estrada about that one, but I was like, he only had so much. Well, actually, he didn't want us to leave, but I probably could have. Like, we still. I know he wanted us to leave. Brett and I were talking to him because we're not talking about chips. We're talking about in Gold We Trust and Alien Seed. It's just
Yeah,
like
Night of the Wilding. Did you get him?
Now the
Did you
Wild.
have?
Yeah, he mentioned now. I talked about Now the Wild. I should have mentioned the final goal really, but
Yeah.
when you're like in the zone, you can't figure that fast. It's just like Martin Cove. Like I couldn't think of his movies that quickly when I was talking to him.
Hmm.
It's like
Yeah.
I only remember like two or three. I tell me I should have mentioned. I should have asked about Bad Fellas. It's gonna drive me crazy. You
Yes.
saw that one, right? Or pieces
No,
of it?
no, no. I gotta see a
Oh
bad. I
God,
think I got. Yeah. Sounds
it's so good.
beautiful. Yeah.
It's Michael Madsen and Michael Madsen and Brian Genesee, you know, and
Yeah.
Martin Cove and James Russo in an insane performance.
Right. All
And
right. I gotta
the
check that
movie is
out.
just straight up garbagey, but you can't. It's barely like a movie. But
Yeah.
let's see. Anything else you want to mention about Wings, or you want what
No,
he's
I
been
think that's good.
watching?
I will quickly say about Tuesday Never Comes. Looks like Plex has that one as well.
Oh, nice.
So for people listening, yeah, you definitely check those out. And then I think, maybe that is a good point too about Wings. It is kind of fun to, if you can find his movies on VHS when you're at kind of a show or something, or if you see them online or whatever, they are kind of fun and watch them on streaming just
Oh,
so you can watch them. But yeah, there is
right.
an added
Right.
fun to doing the VHS versions of them if you can get them.
That's such a great point.
Yeah.
It's like he's a VHS person, kind of like Cynthia Rothrock
Yes.
or
Yeah.
John the Dragon Wilson. Ah, but it's like, but gotta do the noise. But
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
I can't help but laugh but do that. Okay, but like these are people who are perfect for VHS.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah. It's
Wings
kind of like
Hauser.
listening to
Dragon.
classic rock on vinyl.
Yeah, classic Rothrock on VHS instead of vinyl.
Exactly. Rock. Yes, exactly. Yeah, you could
We
do
were
a
just talking about her in last Kumite,
that's
and
right. When we had her there. I mean, well, that's another thing, right? When you think of whether it's Wings or Rothrock or Wilson or any of those ones, nowadays their new stuff, they're barely in these things. Whereas, their heyday in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s, it's such great stuff. And yeah, there's
exactly.
an added feeling to it when you watch it on VHS that it does kind of, I mean, I want these to have Vinegar Syndrome, high quality Blu-rays because the high quality Blu-rays are easier to get than having to sift through bins to find the VHS, and the VHSs are starting to deteriorate as well. So you want them to have those, but if you get the opportunity to watch one of these on a VHS, it is a
Yeah,
fun experience.
that's that kind of fun, kind of like the kind of quality you want to see in it.
Yeah.
Like Art of Dying is a good example. Like
Yes.
it's
That.
the VHS movie for Wings or No Safe Haven.
Yes. No. Well, so No Safe Haven I actually had on DVD. It was one of those cheap
Oh, you
DVDs
did?
where they just essentially just ported the VHS over. But Art of Dying I had on VHS. I got that from
Yeah.
Amazon on VHS. And you're right, that one it does the trick. So yeah, I think however you want to celebrate Wings, you definitely do it. He's someone you should celebrate. And it's
Great
it's
point.
a shame we lost him, but we have so much great stuff of his that it'll take forever. It'll take a while for us to exhaust it all, especially even in that sweet spot. He has like dozens of great movies.
I can't. I 100% agree. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was a nice tribute. I thought just now.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, why don't we get in on our movies? And I should say, before we get in too deep on our movies, we're gonna have spoilers. There's no way we can talk about these movies without spoilers. I
Yeah,
would say of the two movies, River Runs Red is probably more of a spoiler one, whereas Pursuit, it's kind of like the twists that happen in it. You've seen these kind of twists before, so maybe not too bad.
Well,
Um,
I mean, here's what we're doing. We're doing John Cusack on the Skids.
that's right, John Cusack
Yeah,
on the Skids. That's right. That's our theme of this episode. So
yeah,
we're back to our on the Skids series. So we did Malkovich on the Skids. We
yeah.
did uh,
Malky.
Malkovich on the Skids. We did Baldwin on the Alec Baldwin on the
Yeah,
Skids. I mean,
Alec.
technically, Willis has always been on the Skids, right? Because we've been
Oh,
doing all
Cusack.
this.
Wait, Cusack's been on Skids for a long, long time.
Yes.
People forget that, but he has been for over 10 years. That
Yeah.
he's been skidding it up.
Well, recently he went to China and made two movies over there.
Wow.
Um, so that's like his most recent output is two movies in China. I don't know what his plan is, but this is like in this. I mean, really, I mean, I wouldn't say since I started the site, but I want to say probably since like the mid 2010s, right? He's been doing direct to video stuff. He did what Bagman, right? That was a direct to
Oh,
video one.
bag.
Number Station, Frozen Ground.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, a singularity. When I'm trying to get to, I'm dying to get to that movie.
Same here, same here. We mean to watch that one. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so to give people an idea of kind of the background of this episode,
Yeah.
Pursuit was one that we had ready to go for a good amount, and then it disappeared off of
Yeah.
the streamers. And I should say that by the time this episode, depending on when I get this episode out, it's possible that Pursuit will also be gone by then too, because it's supposed to be leaving in 10 days from Prime.
Oh
So
wow, leaving again, but luckily we caught it this time. It
yeah,
was like
yeah,
it's a
exactly.
relentless checking on that one.
Yeah, and so we'd had this one scheduled to do back in the past, and then when it disappeared, I didn't get it watched in time. It ended up on Stars and Stars Purgatory, and so I didn't get it watched. And then it got moved to Prime, so we were like, okay, let's do this now.
Yeah,
And we were trying to find one to pair with it, and we thought River Runs Red. It's got Taye Diggs, it's got George Lopez. Why not give that one a try?
yeah,
Which
Luke Hemsworth.
Luke,
Got
we have a Hemsworth brother. We haven't had a Hemsworth brother yet in any of our
no, that
episodes, so.
he's gonna be coming back. I think once Gunner hits the streamers.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. We'll be getting more Hemsworth. And then also our spotlight in the fight is going to be the Baseball Furies fight in the Warriors, which is a great one. We get some Remar there, which
Yeah,
James Remar is someone who you would think would be in more of these movies we're talking about, but we don't really see him as much. I don't know if he does more TV now. I'm not sure what the deal is.
yeah. I was looking into James Remar because I thought maybe he'll be hitting the convention circuit.
Mm,
Because I'm not sure I'm gonna go to the Chiller yet. Because Michael Madsen's gonna be there, and Aaron Roberts, Michael Bean, um, stuttering John Melendez, and Geraldo Rivera.
oh, Geraldo. Geraldo would
Geraldo's
be
gonna be
great.
there. Oh, I just thought something. Geraldo was in those episodes of Baywatch Nights. And when
Oh,
he played a character, like I don't forget his character, but he was like some annoying kind of jerk, like
yeah.
husband guy. And it's like I know Baywatch Nights. I Baywatch. He's in Baywatch and Baywatch Nights. So,
Yeah,
but
Geraldo. That was yeah. So
no,
he shows up. One of the traditions my wife and I have on Thanksgiving is we watch this documentary that VH1 did in the past called New York '77, the coolest year in hell. So it talks about like kind of 1977 in New York, all the crazy stuff that was going on. And Geraldo is one of the people they interview for it. And so it's always kind of funny to see Geraldo there with his mustache and his glasses and everything, talking about New York in 1977. But it talks about like the advent of punk and hip hop and disco and some of the other things that were going on, porn, all the kind of different things, the blackout, all the stuff, Summer of Sam or Son of Sam.
right.
So it's a really cool documentary. It's on YouTube, and but
Well,
I
there's
just
all
always remember Geraldo in that.
because it's funny about. I thought you were going to say that you watch him open the vault,
Yes,
on Jones Vault every year. That
yeah,
would be a fun thing to do. It's
right.
like,
Yes, I think I think my wife, I think Jen told me that her mom let her stay up to see the unveiling of the vault, and of course,
no,
it was nothing. Yeah, I think she said that. Yeah, she watched it if it was live or she remembers something about that. Yeah, watching that. So, um,
hilarious. It's kind of like the OJ chase or something.
right, exactly. Yeah, right. I mean, at least with the OJ, I guess with the vault, right? You at least could plan it out a little bit. The OJ chase was just like this sudden thing, like, hey, wait, OJ's people,
They're
what
just
are
on
we
the
gonna do?
loose.
Yeah, the
Now with
juice.
OJ gone and all these people in the OJ related case are kind of passed away, either by
Yeah.
certain people or not. Why can we have frogmen come back? It's like that show he was supposed to be on.
Oh, right.
It's
Yeah.
like Okay, it's been 30 years. Time for Frogmen.
Yeah. Well, because also too, right? You've got CIA. Is it it's the first one, right? CIA
Yeah,
Codename Alexa.
CIA. Yeah, CIA one.
Yeah. So OJ has done PM Entertainment as well, which is I was thinking because I mean it's just kind of I wonder if they were going to have him in more stuff, you know.
I think I saw a trailer for that when I rewatched Maximum Force a few weeks ago. It's like, hey, look, OJ Simpson.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
and
'cause
Lorenzo Lamas.
that was 92. And so
Wow.
we were a couple years away from obviously from, 94, the murders, the Bronco chase, all of that stuff. Um, I wonder if they were going to have him in more stuff, had it not been for it's weird with PM, right? Because sometimes you get these one-offs, right, where somebody's in a movie just like one PM flick, and then you never see them again. But I feel like Bo Svensson, I think he only did Steel Frontier.
No, he should have been in more. I like Bush Benson.
Yeah, I heard from John was saying I think on that podcast episode that I think when he interviewed Jacobson Hart, the screenwriter, he said that Spencer was not very happy with the production. He just kind of felt like it was which is interesting because he's done so many like micro budget movies with Fred Williamson that you'd think that like a PM flick that had a little bit more money would have been okay, but no.
I gotta listen back to these pods. I mean, like I know I haven't listened back to one we did yet, or yours. I just know that
Yeah.
Chicken is on Steel Frontier episode. So
Yeah, no, you guys should listen because one thing that's great about the episode you guys do, the sweeper one. So, full disclosure, I was taking a train out to the suburbs to try this fast food place called uh, Freddy's, I think burgers and frozen or steak burgers and frozen custard or
that
something. It was
sounds
like
fun.
yeah, it's a fast food place I'd never tried before. They had one in the suburbs. So I was like, I was trying. The burger's good. It's probably, it's not worth the trip out that I made, but it was really
Uh,
good. It's better than kind of like your normal, like your McDonald's or Burger King kind of fast food. So it's definitely a higher quality. But the train only runs once an hour going back, and I got to the bus station or I got to the train station like at 45 minutes before the next train. So I had some
oh,
time to kill, and I started listening to you guys' podcast again. And yeah, it's really great because you guys are talking about kind of your experience watching Sweeper, but then he interviews Joseph Merhi and Spiro Rosados. And so Rosados talks about like the infamous, oxygen tank shooting scene and,
oh wow.
that chase and all that. So it's a really, you should definitely listen back to it.
I'll
Yeah. For
listen
people,
back. Sometimes it takes me a while. I was like, okay, I just did it, but I'll listen back soon. So
yeah. Yeah. For people listening, the PM Entertainment podcast, we've both been on. So you guys were on for the Sweeper. I was on for Steel Frontier, which is episode 3. Like episode 2 that he did Rage with Dr. Action.
yeah, so
And
he's got some
so
good lineup. I wonder who's going to be next. Do you know?
yeah,
I should ask him. But it's like,
right, yeah,
I feel
exactly.
like
But I mean,
maybe we'll both be back on it because there's so many to choose from.
well, exactly, because I think what he wanted to do, we were talking about it, was that I think he wanted to start with some of the big ones to kind of get people interested. So instead of going like chronologically or something, get in some of those big ones. So I mean, I don't think it get much bigger than Sweeper and Rage, for those first two, and then Steel Frontier is just, it's just another one, another great one in there.
I mean, maybe Skyscraper or Land of the Free, of course.
Yes, yeah, those are.
Right. No, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. I mean, yeah, he's got the other two R's from Daniels. I mean, you've got all the Dawn the Dragon ones that he did. I mean, there's so much in PM. Yeah.
Oh, Ring of Fire 3 is great. I mean,
Yeah.
but as you mentioned, I didn't watch that older or newer or older PM movie, which was Escape from Alaska.
Maybe, I haven't seen that one.
Well, if you love miniatures of snow falling on them, fake snow falling on miniature buildings, still love it.
All right.
That's all it really has going for it. It's pretty kind of slow going. Thomas Ian Griffith is decent in it. A little light in the C. Thomas Hall.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
I'm trying to 15 to 20 C. Thomas Halls this year, and I think, well, here's one.
Yeah, the more C. Thomas Howell that because he's another one from PM. I mean, obviously, it's Sweeper. We're talking about that, but I mean, he's another one that they just kind of they were like here after the Sweeper, which was wasn't his. That he had 2 other movies he directed. They were just like, yeah, go ahead, do what you want, and he was like, okay.
And I always forget the other title. Pure Danger.
Pure Danger, yeah, which is a trip.
Pure Danger.
So, yeah. So what happened was. Oh yeah, yeah. Why don't we? Yeah, we're like getting.
No, go ahead, please. I cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh no. All I was going to say was that John and I talked about Pure Danger for the After Movie Diner podcast, but I think he's going to maybe release that conversation with the new PM one. Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, we never put that episode. You never put the episode out. So, yes,
Oh,
yeah,
that's fun.
yeah, yeah. So, I mean, what a great movie that one was too. So,
Yeah, I would love to
yeah,
do Skyscraper on the podcast. Well, I gotta find my copy,
yeah,
but might be on the streamers.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I've seen that
exactly.
too many times. It's like, but you can't help but enjoy Skyscraper. I'll talk to
Right,
John. We need to probably
exactly.
talk to her about our movies. I know.
Well, yeah. Do we want to start with River Runs Red?
Here, go ahead.
So, and I will say
Red.
there's going to be some spoilers with this one here. Yeah, if you want, I'll do a synopsis of it.
Sure.
So basically, Tay Diggs, he is a guy who came up through the streets. He and his wife, who's played by sorry, I should have had her name up right away. Jennifer Tao, his wife Eve, she's of Chinese descent. Or they have a baby when they're 17, and he ends up kind of working his way out. He becomes a police officer, then a lawyer. And then he becomes a judge. So he's a judge now, and his son, who is in his early 20s, is going to be a police officer. And on his way to being, going to the academy, he gets pulled over by Johnny Capaldi
Yep.
and one of the Hemsworths, by Luke Hemsworth,
Luke
because
Hemsworth.
Johnny Capaldi thinks he gave him the finger. So when they pull him over, as they're kind of going through the process, Hemsworth thinks he sees a gun, and then they open fire. They kill him, and then they try to cover it up by using a fake gun to make it sound like the kid had a gun as well. And so Tay Diggs, of course, he doesn't believe any of this. So he's investigating. Cusack comes into it because he's an IA, international or internal affairs, not international affairs, internal affairs cop who is investigating the situation. As things are going, Diggs realizes, he's not going to get any justice for this, but he also finds out that George Lopez, his son, was also killed by Johnny Capaldi. And so as they're kind of coming together and realizing there is no justice in the system for this, they decide to take things outside the system. And so that's their plan, is to get some guns and go kill Johnny Capaldi, but also Luke Hemsworth, because he was there as well and was part of the lying. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Ty, what were your thoughts on River Runs Red?
Well, before I give my thoughts,
Yeah.
I was just thinking that Gianni Capaldi definitely needs to be looked into more because
Yes.
he's been in some weird stuff.
Right. Right.
I know.
Well, we saw him here. Remember, he was in A Day to Die, which was also directed by this movie's director, Wes Miller. So maybe Capaldi's a Wes Miller mainstay. I don't know.
Because what's really funny, because I was just I lost my notes. Um, it's not out yet, but there's this, or not on streamer. Some movie he made called Demon Pit.
Mhm.
It's him, Robert Davi, Richard Grieco, Dean Cain, and Michael Madsen,
Right.
Randy Couture, and Chuck Zito.
Yeah.
Like, why are we not watching this right now?
Right. Well, and he was also in a movie called The Commando that was directed by Asif
Yeah,
Aziz. He also did Astro with Gary Daniels. It was also directed by Asif Aziz. Uh, yeah, I mean, he was it's a one episode that for people we don't have back was when you were on for the very first time, when you and Brett were on, when we did Ambushed, the Dolph Lundgren movie. Capaldi was in that as well, and I think one of the complaints we had is he's Scottish. He's of Scottish descent. I believe he played soccer or football, I guess is what you'd call it there in Scotland. And then I guess, when his career wasn't really working, football, he transitioned over to acting. But you could hear his Scottish accent at certain points in this movie where he's trying to play like a badass American cop.
yeah, that's what. There's been some weird stuff. I mean, we should get to our thoughts, but I mean, like,
Yeah.
I just watched him in the movie called Damaged, which is hot on Tubi. Let's see one away from Tubi. Samuel
Right.
Jackson,
Yes.
it's Vincent Cassell. I mean,
Yeah, I
John.
need to see that one. I see that. Yeah, it's on. Yeah.
I saw it. Yeah, it's there's a part where it's like this might be a green screen, but it's like
Mhm.
it's like female fight squad of Dolph Lundgren. Did you watch that or no?
Oh yes, when they go to Africa.
Yeah, yeah, it was Africa, right? But yeah, River Runs Red. I thought it was, unfortunately, it's kind of movie on screen. And it's funny you even really mention Cusack because he's barely in the movie, right?
Right, right. He plays this internal affairs guy who is sort of helping Tay Diggs. Because he owes Tay Diggs a favor. We don't know what that favor is, but he owes him a
I,
favor.
yeah,
Yeah. Um,
like that would be better to have some exposition, you know. Oh, I guess not. But you know,
right.
Cusack's wearing his hat, he's got a water bottle. I
Yeah.
didn't see a vape pen.
No, that would have been perfect if he had a vape.
'Cause he usually has the vape pen. Maybe he
Right.
stopped it before he
Yeah.
went to sleep. But it's like, it's like So it's got a movie on screen. This could have been a lot better. If this movie came out, let's say 1999 or 2000, I feel like it went to the theater,
Yeah.
and it would probably be a better movie made in that time frame. Because you kind of have something, but it's not really put together well. And you got George Lopez, and George Lopez is George Lopez. It's funny to
Well,
see him in it, though.
yeah. Now tell me with the George Lopez thing. I don't know if you felt the same way I did, where I get he wants to play a different character, right?
Yes.
I get they come to him and say, "Hey, you're going to play the serious guy, this tough former gangster, member of one of the Latin American gangs. You're going to play this character." But every time he talks, I hear his sitcom character voice. Whatever,
I,
I don't know if you
yeah.
had the same thing.
Yeah. It went right to him jumping on a trampoline or whatever in the beginning of George Lopez episode. It's like, wait, is this the Man Show or George Lopez? But it's like, we loved trampolines back in the 2000s, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, it's funny, Joe Rogan, he was the other host of the Man Show. He doesn't really get chided for that.
Yeah.
I guess maybe that was a long time ago. But now he just gets yelled at by everything else, You ever notice that? Because Elon Musk is, Elon, I'm going to mention Elon Musk in Pursuit. I have an Elon Musk thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right.
But this movie, I mean, I don't know. It could have been better. I mean, you have something, no one looked like their heart wasn't in it. You can just tell, especially Cusack. He's lazy.
Right. Well, there's that, and then also they try to go for this like Shakespearean thing, and I say
Yes.
Shakespearean kind of in the American understanding of Shakespearean, which is just in a tragedy where everybody dies at the end, right? That's what they were going for. But in this case, it means the whole thing just kind of falls apart, right? It just kind of goes off the rails at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that one sequence where okay, so they go to kill Johnny Capaldi, and then they're looking for Hemsworth, and Cusack already puts together that they're trying to kill Hemsworth. So he has a police officer, has from Die Hard, right? Has a black and white do a drive by. But they pick up Hemsworth. They're in the car and they're driving by in the night at nighttime. And he just happens to see, like Taye Diggs sees that Hemsworth. First off, they just happen to be passing Hemsworth, right, when they're driving by. But he just happens to see him, and it's like this movie for what they were trying to do with some of the messages they were trying to say, like you say, trying to make this a better movie. Plot convenience theater like that really doesn't belong in a movie like this.
It's like heavy-handed. And all you
Yeah,
had to do is just like kind of make it more straightforward. Don't try to be fancy. Just try to be
yeah,
decent.
yeah.
And you could have had something. I mean,
Well,
we watch it, your eyes kind of glaze over, and maybe you look at your phone to play Toon Blast, or where you play Marvel Pinball.
Marvel Puzzle Quest, yeah,
Marvel Puzzle
So
Quest. I
it's a
always want to
match three
remember.
game, kind of like Toon Blast. It's a match three
Yeah,
game with Marvel
yeah.
characters.
I was listening back when I was listening back to Sniper's Eye. I was like, wait, I'll try to remember the name of the game. Like, now I still screwed it up.
Yeah, that's all right. No worries. No worries.
Marvel Puzzle Quest, not
Marvel
Marvel.
Puzzle Quest, yeah. So I've got my Marvel character. Yeah, they
Did you
recently
play
released
any
it.
while you're watching the movie? Yeah, I understand if you did. It's like,
Yeah, not well. In this case, I don't know. It's hard. I was looking things up a lot. I mean, one of the things about this movie, I think that could have made it a little bit better is so the part that was like really, something that was hard to believe was that Johnny Capaldi and Luke Hemsworth, when they shoot Taye Diggs' son, the process of where that happens is they pulled him over and they ask for his license, and he goes reaching into his bag, and they think they see a gun and they shoot him. Well, that's the kind of thing any police officer would be exonerated for that. That's not, that's why it's so hard to get convictions on police officers when they kill people in circumstances like that. I think the better circumstance would have been just have Johnny Capaldi's character just be a straight up racist. And he pulls over Taye Diggs' son just because he's driving the Beamer, right? Not because
right.
he weighs up, just, hey, driving while black, he's driving the Beamer. You pull
Yeah,
him over. And then Hemsworth, his character has nothing to do with the killing. Capaldi kills him, and then Capaldi says, "Hey, you better tell the police that he was reaching for a gun. You thought he was reaching for a gun." And then eventually Hemsworth comes clean and says, he wasn't reaching for a gun. Capaldi just killed him because he wanted to kill him. There was no or
that would have
whatever.
been better. I think that actually maybe would make it a better movie, maybe a more powerful statement.
Right,
But the movie's
right.
so kind of jumbled and misconstrued most of the time. It's like, nah.
Yeah. And then
I
maybe he still gets acquitted. Maybe, Capaldi still gets acquitted. So then, of course, that leads to repercussions for Hemsworth because Hemsworth has now testified against his fellow officers. So now none of the cops want him around. But then also, you still get the moment of Taye Diggs and George Lopez wanting to get revenge on Capaldi. So they still go and kill him. But you don't have the Hemsworth piece of it in that sense. It could have been a little bit cleaner that way. And like you said, it you don't necessarily, if it all falls apart with this whole Shakespearean thing, at least it's grounded in more reality of this idea that, like, okay, oh, it seems like the proof is there on Capaldi, but then the jury listens, and it's like, no, Capaldi thought he was reaching for a gun when he wasn't, or whatever. Yeah, because that's really what it is. Like, it's, I think people don't understand that when it comes to the police. It's like, if they think you're reaching for a weapon and they kill you, 9 times out of 10, I should say probably more like 99 out of 100, in court, like, a judge is certainly going to acquit on that, because that's kind of the whole idea, is they don't want a police officer to hesitate, right? So even if statistically speaking, we know that, like, black and brown people, especially young men, are more likely to die in interactions with the police. From a legal standpoint, they want this to be like, hey, you don't want the police to hesitate, and this situation in this movie, it's kind of more like these police officers are poorly trained, they're not good at doing their job, and
yeah.
then the shooting is more of an accident. But then they cover it up. But it's kind of like, they wouldn't, in real life, they wouldn't cover up a situation like this. They would just say what happened and be exonerated for it. And I think you could have had it more of like Capaldi, is doing this more ruthlessly, and there is something to cover up. Have Hemsworth lie for him, and then Hemsworth, changes his mind. That it could have made it work a little bit better.
I can't agree more. I mean, like, because you have something, and then you see that Taye Diggs. If you look at his filmography lately, oh,
He's kind of
it's
on the
like,
skates a little bit too, isn't he?
oh my goodness! You look at this, like, I mean, I just look at that right now. You have this thing called Love and Murder, Atlanta Playboy. It's like, I'm surprised it's a BET original movie. Looks good actually, but it looks like this is no. What are you doing? What are you? This is not good. And he made a movie called Incarnation. Oh, it has Michael Madsen. Have you seen this
Oh,
one?
no, I
You
have.
should have watched
I was
this
just
one.
looking up Love and Murder Atlanta Playboy, because that just, I it
That looks like
looks.
a movie.
I mean,
But
yeah, I mean, the early 2000s BET originals were a very different animal from what you see now with the BET originals. And it's like, when you see Taye Diggs on the cover and then all the other actors, like, I don't know if I know any of the other actors that are listed in, with him there. It's almost just like Taye Diggs and everybody else, but they don't want to say Taye Diggs and everybody else, so they put other pictures on the cover.
well,
Um,
exactly.
yeah,
Because if you look at Taye Diggs' career, you start from the beginning. He's in How Stella Got Her Groove Back, right?
yeah,
Because he's like the main character in that one, and then she got her groove back. He plays Winston Shakespeare. Let's not forget about that. I've never seen How Stella Got Her Groove Back. Not really for me.
yeah.
But then you have Go and then The Best
Hmm.
Man, The Way of the Gun. It's like, okay, look
Right,
at this career, it's really good. And then you got Brown Sugar. People like that movie, I hear. And then
right.
Equilibrium. I don't know if you ever saw that movie. I don't think it's that good. That's me.
No, no.
Then
But
you got
Chicago, I mean,
Chicago is huge. Then you
right?
got
That's like
Basic.
Oscar-winning movie, big
Yeah.
nominate, yeah,
And then you got Rent, and then he's on TV. It's like, okay,
yeah,
he's on Daybreak, which is actually was a quality program.
yeah.
Do you remember this?
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember it at the time. Yeah, I remember it
Yeah.
coming out. Yeah,
Then he's on Private Practice for wow, a long time. Let's see, 6
yeah.
years.
100 episodes. So that's what his. Yeah,
Then he's hanging around doing stuff, and then okay, now it's falling off.
yeah.
You got these Till Death Do Us Part. Then you got River Runs Red. That's a nail in the coffin. And then you
Right.
got
No, he did do
Incarnation. Here's another
Empire.
nail. It's
Yeah,
like,
he did do Empire for 23 episodes. So he was still kind of relevant there in like
gotcha.
2016, 2017. But
Yeah,
since then, and it's kind of too bad because, like you said, he's Taye Diggs, he's,
yeah. He say
uh,
Diggs. Right? He's a
yeah,
name. What's going on? Maybe he just has a bad agent, or maybe doesn't care anymore. Because
yeah.
doing the BET originals, this is he's not. If he's not careful, he'll be on a Tubi original right quick.
Right, right. Well, I mean, Love and Murder Atlanta Play. I mean, that is a Tubi original, essentially, right?
Yeah,
It's just
I'm
it's
surprised
just
it's not on
BET
Oh, it's
original,
on
but
Pluto. I should watch this movie.
right, because That's right, because I think BET, I think, is a Paramount channel, and Paramount owns Pluto. So
Oh,
I think they put
okay.
some of their original movies on there the same way that. So in that sense, it actually is pretty much a Tubi original because right, that's Tubi does the same thing I think for Fox kind of things.
Because it's funny because I'm looking it up now. Another BT original is called "Who's Cheating Who," and it stars Darius McCrary, Eddie Winslow from Family Man,
Right, right.
which we just saw that yellow type in Las Kumite.
Yes,
It's
right,
like,
right. Which I mean, you get that Eddie Winslow would be in a BET original, but
yeah,
Tay
that's fine.
Diggs,
Hey,
yeah,
Dick seems like that's a kind of a fall from that. Definitely a couple of falls down from grace there.
yeah.
Like
I mean,
what?
I
Oh,
just I mean, you think about like, yeah, like when he does, like you said, like there's the best man. I mean, Go. I love him in Go when he's like yelling at the guy who is from England, and he's like, and remember, like they get their car stuck when they're trying to run away from the bad guys.
yeah, Go is an underrated movie. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Timothy Oliphant, right, is great in that one.
Yeah, yeah, I like Oliphant in that because that's when Oliphant used to be kind of wacky and crazy. You
Right,
can
yeah,
tell that because he probably has kids or something. But it's
right, exactly.
well, that's we all do when you have children or you get married, you just mellow out, man.
Yeah.
But it's like, it used to be a lot wackier. I think we mentioned that past podcast that it used to be a little crazier. Oh, you must be. Oh, tell me you're very excited for or something you're excited for Havoc, not the a rewatch of the Anne Hathaway classic, the other Havoc. It's Tim Oliphant, Forrest Whitaker, Tom Hardy.
Oh, I've heard it. Yes,
Coming April 25th. Um, directed from the director of The Raid. Looks very good.
yeah. No,
And
this should be a good one. Yeah, I mean Tom Hardy, just in general. I mean, I kind of forgot how much I liked Tom Hardy. Then I watched the Venom trilogy, and I was like, yeah, I like Tom Hardy. Why don't I watch him in more stuff? And so, yeah, you know, the,
this could be a winner. I can't
I
wait for it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, these Netflix ones. Recently, I did Subservience with
Oh yeah,
Mitch from the Video Vacuum. But yeah, these Netflix ones are the only thing about the Netflix ones. The only issue with them is that they're long. Like this one's 145. Or sorry, it's an hour and hour and 45 minutes. It's like as bad as Runs Red is. You get in and out in 90 minutes. And I think that's the only thing with Netflix, right? Is they like to go a little long with their movies.
well, I hear that new one about like Mr. Peanut in the future or something. The
Yeah.
Electric State. Like, why is this about Mr. Peanut? It's like
Right. Yeah.
I didn't see it, but my friend watched it. And he said, "Yeah, it's looks like Mr. Peanut." It's like, what, Mr. Peanut?
Right.
You're kidding. I mean, like you're kidding. It's like, no, I'm not kidding. It's all about Mr. Peanut, voiced by
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson. Like, and then Netflix spent $300 million on that. It's like, okay, so Mr. Peanut's fortune is very high. His estate, I guess.
Right, right, exactly,
Like, you
exactly.
try to get some Elvis songs, cost like $100 million. That's why people mostly don't do them.
Mhm.
You ever see that movie? I didn't see it yet, but it has Ray Liotta, and it's called The Identical.
No,
And
I
it's about
haven't seen
an
that one.
identical
No.
Elvis impersonator.
Hmm.
That's what the plot. And also, it's like a religious thing or something.
That
And
sounds interesting.
yeah, it does. I always want to watch it, but I don't think they could afford any Elvis songs, so it's kind of funny. And just like,
Yeah.
yeah, he's not yelling. Ray Liotta's not yelling at people. I think he's supposed to be nice.
Right,
He's
exactly.
not calling anyone a rat, unfortunately. Rat. It's like rat. And we're like, well, we've watched Shades of Blue, which I think you watched that yet or no? It might be on Tubi.
I've been meaning to because I
Oh,
love the idea of him in that.
oh, he's so fantastic. He's just completely intense in it. All he is, he's just yelling and screaming and like getting in. He's yelling at everyone. It's like, and he thinks everyone's a rat, and it's
Right.
hilarious. Like, you're a rat, right? It's like, I'm not a rat. You're a rat. It's like, there's a rat in my department. It's like, it's hilarious. You can't help but laugh. Oh, but yeah. So the difference I mentioned about the movie is, oh, actually, let me look at my notes. Yeah. Well, George Lopez. I mean, I give him another chance if he does another serious role, but I don't know. And then
It's
Cusack,
hard.
Cusack,
It's hard with that voice because it's like, there's a
yeah,
scene where Tay Diggs shows the body or like the dash cam footage of George Lopez's son being killed. and Lopez, he pulls out his gun. He's like, "Why would you show me that? Why would you show me that?" And it's supposed to be like a very like strong, powerful scene, but I'm just hearing the guy from from what he did the sitcom, but I think he also did commercials, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so. He must have V-Shield for something.
Yeah, and just like that voice is just so like synonymous with being a goofball, and
I
I
know.
I get it. Like he wants to play a serious character, and I don't think he does a bad job acting in this. It's not like he's doing a bad job acting in this thing. It's just that his voice is so synonymous with that sitcom. It's going to take some work, I think, for him to get outside of that if he wants to do more serious things.
I mean, maybe he could change his voice. He can change it to like Dolph Lundgren or something. It's like, yeah.
Right, exactly. Maybe we can talk to Dolph about figuring out ways to do that because yeah, Dolph has a completely different voice when he's acting.
Oh, right. Just like when Richard Quest was interviewing him about skin trade.
Right,
So we can't watch
exactly.
that. HBO Max has took away that video. I mean,
Yeah,
or CNN. I mean, like that's the only thing I care about CNN is that video.
right.
Just give me it back. I should have like recorded it off my phone or something.
I know,
Right.
I know. It's one
I
of
didn't.
those things you almost kind of feel like you have to do that now between Max, right, with them dumping thing with Zaslow just dumping stuff, and then Disney with the way that they vault things. You never know when they're going to dump something. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you almost feel like you got to like whatever, you know, program you have on your computer or whatever to like record streaming stuff. It's like
You're
you're
right.
almost doing it
Yeah.
more just to archive it than you are to like pirate it or something.
That's I did that once. You know, if you ever watch a movie called Cop Game, which is a great
Oh
silly
yes,
Philippine. There's a great. The song is fantastic. So I recorded the opening of the movie on my
yeah.
phone, or my iPad, or on my phone to the iPad. And it was like, oh yeah, Cop Game. It's so great. Um, so I guess for River Runs Red, I won't recommend it. And Cusack was a huge waste.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, look, he has a hat on. It's like,
Yeah.
right. It's just
Yeah,
like,
this was as skidsy as it gets for one of the. I
yeah,
mean,
it's
I,
super
actually, I
skid.
was going to say as skidsy because Malkovich. I mean, his part in that what was that One Ranger,
One
right?
Ranger. My goodness, that was so skids.
Yeah, I the only thing I think that makes the Cusack one worse is you get less Cusack than you got mailed in Malkovich
I
in
like that Meldon Malkovich.
mailed in Malkovich,
I like
right?
that.
But that was ridiculous too. Like he wasn't even like trying to have an English accent. He was just like sitting in a cab
Yeah,
talking to Jane, and I can't remember the actor's name that was starring opposite him, but
he looked AI. He looked CGI. They
yeah,
CGI John Malkovich in somehow.
right,
Just
right.
looks garbage.
Yeah, he was just imagining the look on his wife's face when they put in the outdoor pizza brick
I
oven,
don't pizza oven. I hope he enjoys his pizza. I mean, you know, we have to suffer through these movies. I hope he enjoys
Yeah,
his, you know, his onion and broccoli pizza. He probably likes
yeah.
something like that. But
I
it's
mean,
like,
I mean, and I don't know what Cusack. I mean, again, so Pursuit was the one we're going to be talking about here.
yeah,
Is the
dude,
last American movie he made because the other two are Chinese ones,
that's
and
interesting.
River Runs Red. He also did a TV series called Utopia, but then he did a movie called Never Grow Old. I think it's a western.
Yes, I've actually seen that, and also
Yeah.
I've you know,
Okay.
it's not bad.
Okay. So
I actually
okay.
that's not that movie.
So maybe, and it actually has a lot more critic reviews. That's 51 critic reviews. Was that like? Did it
I mean,
air somewhere?
it didn't go to the theater, but people, I think, if you kind of stumble upon Never Grows Old, it
Mm,
actually is pretty good.
okay. So
Because you know, if you look at the other Cusacks that you mentioned, oh, the Factory, that's when he
right,
was called a diva. Um,
right,
you
right.
could, which is saved in my Google saves. It's like John Cusack, the Factory diva. It's always there. So it's like
Right.
I just laugh. I always like when I look at the word diva and see what happens. But it's like, it's like, but that one's my favorite.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. So, I mean, because he does Hot Tub Time Machine too, but he's like, I think he has like an uncredited part.
Yeah,
Like he
it's
just kind of shows
uncredited in
up.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, but I mean, yeah, he's been pretty much in this DTV world since the early 2010s. And like you said, The Factory, that kind of was the first one, wasn't it?
I think
That
so.
was,
If you go back, it's an interesting trajectory because if we can also just all segue into Pursuit if you like,
yeah, I think
uh,
that's perfect. Yeah, yeah.
which if I can get IMDb up. Okay, so let's go back just for a second. So John Cusack, you know, oh look, John Cusack, gross point blank, a spotlight on a fight uh, member. You
That's
know,
right. That's right. Exactly. That's a good
yeah,
point. Yeah.
yeah. So let's see. So we're gonna well see. The Raven was a dud, which I've seen, but it was okay. and then like and then the factory, then and then the frozen
Yeah.
ground,
Yeah.
number station, which not bad. These aren't bad.
Yeah.
A grand piano. Did you see that? It's very like it's like phone booth.
No, I haven't. I don't know.
Well, I asked Alec Winter when I met him, name dropping. I asked him about that movie because 'cause that movie's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
He didn't. He was like, yeah, grand piano, yeah. It's like, it's like I know he was as he must have got the grumpies from Jason Patrick. I guess he was right next to him.
Yeah. Well,
But he got the bag man, which
that's
is
right. Yeah.
now that's an interesting movie because it's De Niro, Robert De Niro, and John Cusack, and De Niro talks about Full House, the show.
I haven't seen that one yet. I've been meaning to.
I need to rewatch that and make sure that was true or not. But it's like I think he does. It's like he has this pompadour. It's all very stupid. It's like that's not good for him. Then you got Drive Hard. Now that's a Skids.
Yes,
You
I
know,
remember that one.
Thomas
Was that shot in Australia?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, with him and Thomas Jane.
Yep. And then you got the Prince. Oh God, the Skids are back. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Twisted Sister, the kids are back. The Skids are back.
Yeah.
You got Bruce Willis being, Bruce Willis. You got Jason Patrick being Jason Patrick.
Right.
And he's like, he's just sitting in a car. It's like, yep, I'm here.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean that's the skit. Now we did that one way back when the early iteration of the podcast with Jamie. Jamie and I did that. We
Did you
did
Drive
the
Hard?
Prince. No, the
the
Prince.
Prince.
And then Drive Hard I saw it around the same time. But yeah, I mean the Prince. It was like what? Yeah, and it was kind of as we kind of get into like the next few years of Cusack is when he starts to go off the rails on Twitter, where he's just like saying all kinds of crazy stuff on Twitter. Like it's half the time we don't even know if he's like fully, sober when he's doing it.
Yeah, and then you got these other. That's a great point because then he's just doing all sorts of crutch. Right,
Yeah.
you got Spell, you got Arsenal. Basically the Deadfall 2.
Yeah.
He just plays. I remember him, and I remember in Arsenal, like he does nothing. He does nothing in Arsenal. He just sits in a car in a vape pen again. Like, and then you have Singularity, which I'm dying to see because I know he was just he was shot later
Yeah.
into the movie. And then you have Distorted. You ever see that?
No, I haven't seen Distorted or Singularity. Those are two that are definitely. I think Singularity is on Paramount. It says.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah, and then
I didn't watch it.
Distorted, I think might also be on one of the streamers as well. That's Christina Ricci.
I saw it. I mean, I guess who's wearing a hat and a vape pen?
Yeah, I can see that.
But I guess Pursuit. We'll get into Pursuit. Let me get my notes if you want to do the right.
Yeah, and I also want to mention it because Brendan Fletcher. We were talking about Dangerous earlier in this.
Yes.
Brendan Fletcher. He's one of those types like with Thoreau or Ava, where he just kind of appears in a lot of these movies, and so.
Yes, he's an Uwe Boll disciple, right? He's in
I think so.
Those Rampage movies.
That's right. Yeah, and
The first
now
one
it's just.
I saw the other one. I think there's 2 of them. There's just 3 of them.
Yeah. So
it's just like whatever it's called, like Capital is down or something. It's like
right, that's right.
Get a little jumpy. It's like.
Yes. I think there was one of the Uwe Boll movies that he was making. His people reached out to me about doing an interview with him, and I had gone on my kind of unplanned hiatus, and I wasn't checking my site email. So first, I get an email from his people saying, "Hey, Uwe Boll wants you to interview him for his newest movie," and I was like, and I of course didn't see the email. And then like 3 or 4 emails later, I get one from him saying, "Hey, I'm ready for my interview, Matt." And I'm like, "What?" It was him like emailing me. And
that's amazing. Or
I missed the whole thing. I was like, it was like one of those things where I logged in because I think it was actually I logged in. I think at that time when my site when I lost the domain because I hadn't been checking my emails. Right. And the domain, it was an expired debit card. I'd gotten a new debit card and hadn't updated the payment method. And so I was like looking into it to see if there's anything I could do. And I was going through the emails and I saw all kinds of. There's another guy who was doing a documentary on like low budget action movies. He was doing interviews with Don the Dragon Wilson and Cynthia Rothrock, and he was inviting me along. He wanted me to come along with him because he wanted more context for those kinds of movies. So I could have met possibly. I don't know what the guy was doing. I don't know what the deal was. But yes, I missed out on all. It was like this period of time where like suddenly all these opportunities showed up at the time that I wasn't paying
Exactly.
attention.
It's funny because I think we were supposed to. I did this a long time ago now, and I'm still disappointed. We were supposed to interview Robert Davi, and we had this nice, good set of questions, and weren't about
Yes.
predictable. And then there was nothing. It's like he wanted an interview. He's like, we're gonna interview him, and we had.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh wow, that's because he liked all of our stuff he posted about his movies. You
Right.
know, I forget the titles right. Oh, The Dangerous, and I forget the other ones. But The Dog Fighters, I think.
Yeah.
So we were on his radar, and then nothing really came through of that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so
No.
Pursuit. I have a lot of notes, but when I get to the,
Well, yeah. All right. So here's the premise of Pursuit. So Emil Hirsch plays this guy named Rick Calloway, who's a champ, like one of the best hackers in the world. He speaks in a weird, halting way.
yeah,
But his dad is played by John Cusack, is Jack Calloway, who's this crime boss in Arkansas, and somebody kidnaps his wife, Emil Hirsch's wife. And so while Emil Hirsch is trying to rescue his wife, the son is staying with John Cusack. And so as things start to unravel, Emil Hirsch attacks this drug deal that's going on in a hotel to get information about his wife. It just happens that a guy named actor Jake Manley, who plays a character named Mike Breslin, he pretty much looks like the high school quarterback in a Lifetime cheerleading movie. That's pretty much what this guy looks like with his long hair and his eyes and it's everything.
yes,
Um,
I have him in my notes.
yes. So Emil Hirsch shoots up the whole thing, and this guy, of course, he doesn't get killed, but he's on a mission to take Hirsch down. Eventually, he does, but he loses one of his fellow officers in the process. And Emil Hirsch also knows where this guy's family, his wife was murdered. He knows the people who murdered his wife, and he's like, I'm going to give you their names if you help me out to find my wife. And there's kind of all these machinations going on. We also have William Catt as the local Arkansas cop.
Yes, I love his name in it.
Yeah, Tay Biggs. He's Tay Biggs instead of Tay
Thanks.
Diggs. Right. Yeah. Which made it confusing for us watching River Red. We didn't, I wasn't really thinking about that. We did River Red Reds and we got Tay Diggs, William Catt playing Tay Biggs.
Yeah.
We've also got Andrew Stevens of Night Eyes fame. He's actually,
Frank
it's his,
Diego.
he's Frank Day. It's his production company that does this. So,
Yeah, you can tell. Right.
yeah, he's like a competing crime boss alongside of Cusack, but it's one of those deals where suddenly, as things start to unravel, there's a lot of shootouts, a lot of people getting killed, people getting tortured, all that kind of stuff, and eventually you get to like the last 10 minutes, you got to put your goggles on because the loose ends start flying together all over the place. So as long as you get your eye protection, you'll be okay. So yeah, Ty, what did you think of Pursuit?
I have to say I kind of like this one because it was so ridiculous. It was almost, I would say Black Operations level, but it was really close at some parts. Because let me see. So when I was setting up the notes, and I was typing in Emil Hirsch. They wouldn't type in the word Hirsch, right? So they said Emil Harsh. It's like, wait, it's like, oh no, not again. Autocorrect got me. Because in the movie, he looks like Machine Gun Kelly, Billy Ray Cyrus, Steve Zahn, and Post Malone. Like, all at the same time. And he says that he based his performance on Elon Musk. He's always in the news nowadays.
Right.
Like, and then he has his kerchief. It's a weird performance by Emil Hirsch. He was Elon Musk. He'll be in movies soon as a Bond villain or whatever. But
right, exactly. Yes.
But,
yeah,
I like Elon.
yeah. He speaks
Elon.
this.
He's from the Ghostbusters.
Right, yes, like he speaks in this like halting way. It's like, where is my wife?
Yes, it was David Caruso-esque. Like,
Yeah. And then Cusack spends most of the movie on his cell phone or grilling steaks. That's pretty much what he does for the movie.
And he's wearing sunglasses indoors, and his stupid hat is back.
Yes.
And he looks really tired.
Right.
Yes. Like, he's just making steaks the whole time. And then of course, I guess I'm going to give it away. His precious steak grill blows up at the end.
Yes. Yeah.
I kind of felt bad for his steak. He loved that steak grill.
Right. right. It's
That's
like
his line. That's terrible.
it was like Chekhov's grill, right? If you put a
Yep.
grill in the first scene, you have to blow it up by the end of the movie. Um,
I was kind of hoping they would in a way. And actually, there was kind of some fun Cusack exposition at the end I enjoyed.
that
And it's
was
like,
right.
okay. And once that happened, okay, I kind of got around. And of course, Tay Biggs is so funny.
Oh, William Cat is
Slim
yeah,
Cat, his name. I was like, no, that's not his name. And then I saw on the subtitles, it's like Tay Biggs. It's like Tom Hardy in Striking Distance or Bruce Willis. Like Tom,
yeah.
like here we go again.
Exactly.
Waiting for the remake of Striking Distance where Tom Hardy plays Bruce Willis. But here's some. I also have some other weird lines. Oh, let's talk about that weird guy you're talking about, the himbo guy.
Right, the himbo. Yeah,
Um,
so I mean, one of the things that makes a movie like this work is if you've got some kind of grizzled police officer. I mean, part of the reason why the Bruce Willis ones even work on the level that they work on is that even if he's not in the movie a lot, as the grizzled cop, he works. And yeah, this kid, this Jake Manley guy, I mean, he just like you said, he's a himbo. He looks like in a cheerleader thriller on Lifetime, he's the high school quarterback. That's who he is.
and I thought he looked like Chris Hemsworth and a younger Emil Hirsch. It's just like
Yes.
it's like he looks like Emil
Right.
Hirsch like 5 years ago.
Right,
So
right,
it's
right.
like wait a second.
Yeah,
Now you have Emil Hirsch. Now he's not looking too great because there's a whole scene about that too. If you
right.
remember, he's
Yes,
getting tortured. This
yes.
I actually wrote down the timestamp of this because it was so funny. At a hour and 6 minutes, 58 seconds. There's that really funny stunt double for Emil Hirsch. I don't even remember that.
Yes, I do.
He wasn't look. He looked a little chunkers,
Yes.
Emil in the movie, and then he looks like he's in shape. For like,
Oh, and when you see that there's a foot chase after the gun the drug shootout, and when they're switching between Hirsch and his stunt double, it's the same
yeah,
thing, right? Like you just
yes,
yeah,
and that was funny. And I was like, okay, I'm liking this movie. And then John Cusack, I think he says this to some other kid. Here's your pepperoni. Pepperoni
yes, right.
7.4.
Yes, because the son, right? The son is because Emil Hirsch's son is hanging out with Cusack. Because Cusack's the dad, so it's his grandfather,
Right.
and it's like, yeah, it just seems like they're like always like they're like they're making pizza together,
Yeah, all I
and
do
it
is
was
eat
like
pepperoni pizza.
right, like oh here's the pepperoni, it's like this big deal. Which I mean, I guess I'm more of a mushroom pizza person, but I get it
Mm.
with the pepperoni.
Yeah, I can't have mushrooms because I'm allergic to them in real life.
Oh geez, okay, yeah, all right,
Not like I would die to say I have
right.
like a not a rash, but kind of like a weird burning sensation on
Yeah, so you
your
don't want
like,
the
lip and fingers.
yeah,
And it's like, oh, I can't have mushrooms. Um, I do like that there was the I guess the wife of Neil Hirsch. She kind of looked like Sarah Michelle Gellar. So I said
right,
fake SMG kidnapped.
right,
And then
yes,
I also like this part. I have something else that was so funny. It took a while for the title credit. Uh,
yes.
it's like, oh right, it's called Pursuit. It's like how long is this title sequence? How long is this going to get the title?
Yeah, well, and then we have this whole opening thing where Emil Hirsch is on his computer, I
Mm,
guess, talking to whoever has his wife, and he's like giving them Bitcoin, but it's like, it's
right.
it's the hacker thing, right? With all the different computers up, and he's in his underwear, I think, and he's just typing stuff, and it's
Yeah.
like you think that's what the movie's going to be, but it's not that at all. I mean, that's the other thing with this movie, and I think to your point about you sort of just like have fun with it because it's so all over the place.
Yeah. It was all over, but I can't help but enjoy it after a while.
Yeah, there's a point where what you have to do is essentially stop. You can't try to figure out what's going on in the plot because there's just too many different things going on. So if you just accept that you're just going to let each scene happen the way they happen and not try to connect them with other things, that helps. I also had to stop trying to figure out who was who because I didn't know who Rick or Jack or Frank or John or anybody that
Yeah.
they would just throw out these names and I'd be like, wait, was that Frank? No, that was Rick.
Is that
And
Rick or yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
so I
Diego.
couldn't keep. Yeah, Diego. It's
Yeah.
like at least if they'd called him Diego, if they'd called like for example, if they'd called Andrew Stevens' character Diego, I could have differentiated it better with Jack. And then if Emil Hirsch was something other than Rick, it's like
Yeah.
Rick, Jack, Frank. I couldn't keep those straight. So I had no. And then Mike, of course, the main character, the police officer character, his character's name is Mike. It's like you couldn't differentiate the names at all. But there's so many things going on in the movie; it was hard to keep track of any of it. And there's a certain point where it's just like, okay, I'm just gonna let these scenes play out and just get a kick
Yeah,
out of Cusack frying steaks and whatever. And like you said, it's an hour and a half, and eventually, things blow up and you're done.
exactly. And then something about it just kept it going because every character was just really dumb. I mean,
Yes.
I mean, you got the himbo guy, you got Styles. There's like that lady.
Oh
Cop,
yes, right. The one who did like she was like she was
just chopstick hair. Like
yeah,
what?
what was she like? She was like Norman Reedus's character in the second Blade movie, right?
Yeah.
That's essentially what she is. Only she wasn't
and,
eating any Krispy Kreme donuts, but otherwise that's her.
and also the other sheriff, she looked like a fake Halle Berry. So you
Yes.
have fake Halle Berry, you have real Emil Hirsch, and then fake Emil Hirsch, and then in the same movie. Andrew Stevens, he looks like Chris Christopherson in Wolf Blitzer
Yes, he
nowadays.
does. Yes.
That's what I wrote in my notes.
Yeah.
And I love that Cusack and Stevens were talking on the phone. It's like
Yes.
I it's like of course this is happening. It's like we're lucky this happened, I guess.
Well,
And of course, go ahead, please. No, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say because Stevens, right? It's his production company, so it must have been such a huge deal for him to get Cusack, right? And maybe once he got Cusack, he was able to get William Catt and Emil, get the other names involved. But when you hear about Black Dawn that he made with Seagal, where he was so excited to get
Yeah.
Seagal, and Seagal knew how excited he was to get him, and he just made the production a mess. I wonder if Cusack, I do because those stories about Cusack being a diva. I wonder what it was like for Stevens. Like if maybe Stevens was just so used to it and it was like as bad as Cusack may have been, he wasn't Seagal in Black
When
Dawn.
it's like
Right?
for Cusack, this is an easy one for him. And like, well,
Yes.
usually he just sits in a car with a vape pen. He had to stand up in this one. But
Right. Right.
I mean, he was wearing the hat and sunglasses indoors. Like he was like Corey Hart. He wears
Yes.
sunglasses at night, but also he's wearing sunglasses during the day. Yes, I know he looks really cool. Or maybe he has an eye issue. We'll see. But it's like, but I will say the other thing I thought was hilarious was when Emil Hirsch walks away from the explosion in slow motion.
Yes.
Classic Hirsch, man.
Right.
I like how he's making these garbage. I think I know why he's making the garbages, Emil Hirsch.
Yeah.
Because do you remember he got in trouble?
Oh,
Um,
did he? Oh.
he was drunk at some party and he like choked some studio executive lady at Paramount.
Oh, that'll do it. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, and now you're in pursuit.
Yeah. Right. Because we saw with Hotch from
That's right.
Criminal Minds. He kicked somebody making the movie, and then that was it.
Yep.
He's done. So it
Yep.
says here he was charged with aggravated assault after he attacked and choked a female VP of Paramount Digital during a Sundance Film Festival party in early 2015. He claimed he had no memory of the incident due to consuming enormous amounts of alcohol. He then checked into rehab. Um,
See, that's
so
interesting. See, that, and look at 2015. That's when it's like, because think about it, he was, supposed to be a pretty big name
right,
back in the day. I mean, look at, of course, The Girl Next Door.
that's
I mean,
right.
like, that
Yeah,
was his big movie.
Speed Racer in
Speed Racer,
2008.
huge, you
Yeah,
know. Alpha Dog, very big movie.
that's right. Yeah,
So, and then, well, The Darkest Hour, is that worth watching? Like, people get,
I haven't
like,
seen that one.
or something. I don't know. I see it streaming on the CW app.
Oh, nice, nice.
That's hilarious. Then you
Yeah,
got Lone Survivor, and then okay, now it's falling off. So you can tell when he did the chokings.
yeah.
You can tell like oh. So, I thought he was in a movie with our buddy Bruce Dern, but maybe not.
I think
Um,
so. I think
he
he did.
was.
He's done a good amount of these low budget ones, and so yeah, I
Well,
think well he did Never Grow Old with Cusack. I don't know if did that one
oh,
have Dern?
I don't know. Oh, Force of Nature had Mel Gibson. Do you ever see that? It's a gang of thieves playing a heist during a hurricane. Mel Gibson's like an old man or something. It's not very good.
No, I haven't. No.
It's kind of garbagey. Oh, Midnight of Switchgrass, of course. So he's doing the Randall scandals.
Yeah, exactly. And he wrote one of the Randall scandals too, didn't he? Um,
He wrote something.
I think he wrote one of the Fortress movies or something like that.
Hilarious. Oh, Prey. Look at that. Look at this. Oh, Dead Money. What's this?
I
Oh, God.
know.
Emil Hirsch, David Keefe, Rory Culkin, and Jackie are dead money at this table. Falling could be fatal.
Right.
I
So
mean,
Hirsch wrote both Fortress movies. He wrote Fortress and Fortress Sniper Eye. They're story by credits.
oh dear.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's Hirsch. Yeah.
Oh dear. Yeah, so you could tell since the choke innings, he could tell that his career, like, okay, you can have a career, but it has to be cruds.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like Liam Neeson. When he almost got canceled about I think it was almost 10 years ago now. If you remember that,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and it's like I was gonna follow this guy. Gosh, it's like you gave me really good material for my impression, Liam, but it's like I want you to get canceled. Like it's see now it's like, you could be in movies, Liam, but they have to be cruds. Look
Yeah.
at Absolution. Did that hit the streamers yet?
Oh, good question. Good question. Yeah, because I was looking at the Taken movies. I still haven't seen the Taken movies. I was thinking of watching them.
Taken was really good. I mean, I would go
Yeah.
back if you can. Just go three, two, one.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No, none
Start
of
with
them
the
are on
first
right now.
one.
None of them are on streaming. So
Oh,
I
Skids
don't want to rent them. I don't want to pay
love.
to rent them. But yeah.
Oh,
Let's see. Absolution. What do we got here?
yeah.
It's
Like that.
$5.99 right now on
Uh,
Prime.
Paying money
So
for.
yeah, they're not
Look,
messing
he has a
around.
mustache. Liam Neeson.
Yeah, you
And
gotta.
I
Yeah.
think in the Naked Gun remake as Frank Driven.
Oh, is he? Oh, that could be interesting.
Like that could be kind of funny. I don't know. Yeah, I haven't written off Liam Neeson yet, but you should probably make something good soon. I mean, like it's getting a little. It's like hello.
Yeah, I mean, he's another one that we could skids, right? We could
He
do it
could
on the
skip.
skids.
I mean, like I'm waiting. I don't think we'll never get Tom Cruise or Denzel Washington to be in the Skids. But I think Liam Neeson still has a chance. I mean, like if you would never think Alec Baldwin would be on the Skids or Malkovich.
Right, right, exactly. And they're firmly on the skids.
Oh
So
my god!
I
And
mean, I
Morgan
think
Freeman.
Neeson is closer.
Yeah,
He could get there. I mean, Absolution looks like it could be in on the skids. And
yeah. I looked at
what's
them.
in the name in the land of saints and sinners? Like,
Oh,
what
I
is
saw
that?
that. You want to
Did
be
you see it?
forced.
Okay,
It's a nice nap in the land of sleep and napping.
okay, all
So,
right.
so I could have spotted that. But yeah, but Morgan Freeman, he's hitting the skids for a long time now.
Yeah, right,
He
right,
did that
exactly.
57 seconds as him and Josh Hutcherson. That's perfect for the podcast.
We could do Freeman on the skids for sure. I mean,
Oh my, yeah, I hope we can. I mean, I watched that crud one where he played Dr. Mackles. So stupid. And why am I remembering the title? It's him and Cole Hauser. I can't remember the title. Oh, Ritual Killer.
okay. Oh, yes, I see
Okay.
that one there. Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So
you actually was actually almost good, and then it took a turn for the worse, and because there's no explanation about what's going on too well,
yeah.
and then it just ends like,
Yeah. Well,
it's like,
that's what happens with a lot of, I mean, going, kind of looking at Pursuit. I mean, that thing that kills
yeah,
Pursuit is that there's just all these moving parts, all this stuff happening all over the place, and it's like hard to keep track of it all. And I think I don't know. I think for the people that write the movies, and granted, with Pursuit, it had multiple writers, and maybe that's another part of the problem, right? Is that
yeah,
like somebody writes the story or the basic idea, and then when a director like Brian Skiba's the director here, who also he did the second that
I like that.
yes,
Ryan
Randy.
Phillippe.
Yeah. So he does, he
I
does,
can't.
done some other stuff, but yeah, I think it's like when the director gets a hold of the movie, they do a rewrite, and it looks like Andrew Stevens maybe even done a rewrite. So it's like once the thing gets passed through a bunch of people, then they start adding characters, they start adding backstory and stuff, and it just
And
becomes too much. And I would say for people who are making these movies, uh, yeah, and I mean I don't know too if it's like, oh well, we got John Cusack, so let's
for a day,
add
we
to
got John
this.
Cusack for 2 days. We're
Right.
moving around. It's like,
Yeah, and you wonder, right? You wonder what causes these things to happen, but it's like when there's too many characters and too much stuff going on, it for a 90-minute movie, and then if they all have the same one syllable name, it's really difficult to keep up with it all. And so
there's
for people
another
making
movie
these
called,
movies,
yeah,
yeah,
it's a movie called Pursuit. I think it's like an old movie, and not that people would care about it anymore. But I mean, like,
yeah,
I'm looking at Andrew Stevens. I mean, like, well, as you do.
right.
I mean, he does write all the great movies. He does write all the best movies we've seen. Final Voyage and Night Eyes.
Night Eyes. I mean,
I wish he was Night Eye security in this. You know, it's like,
right,
why is there Night Eye security ever again? It's like,
yeah, that's it. Once he's done with it, it's over. I mean,
I guess
yeah,
someone else.
because you're right. He wrote the all three of the Night Eyes. He also wrote Half Past Dead 2, which I haven't seen that one yet. That was directed by Art Camacho. I feel like I gotta watch that one.
Maybe it's better now. I don't think so, but you know what I mean. Like maybe you get it, but maybe you get it more.
Right.
Um,
I mean, I
go
was
ahead.
looking at his director credit. I didn't realize he directed Virtual Combat, the Don the Dragon Wilson movie.
Oh, that's right.
Also Crash Drive. Crash Drive. Crash Dive. No, sorry, Crash Dive.
That's a Dudikoff.
Dudikoff, exactly. He directed that
Oh,
as well. So, yeah, he's an interesting figure in the DTV
and
world.
Andrew Stevens for sure, because when you see when it says Andrew Stevens Entertainment, or maybe,
Right?
did that come up on the movie?
It did. Yeah, this was an Andrew
Okay,
Stevens film. Yeah.
that was really a while ago before we were doing this. This
Yeah. Oh yeah. No,
here
it's an
comes
Andrew Stevens
quality.
movie. Yeah,
Andrew Stevens
exactly.
Entertainment, because see, for the uninitiated, like we know Andrew Stevens, because Night Eye Security. Let's
Right.
say people know just peripherally Andrew Stevens, like, oh right, he's kind of that B actor guy.
Hmm.
Uh-oh. I don't think this is gonna be good.
Right.
Obviously, it's not very good, but, but I like the people who know Andrew Stevens, who kind of know Andrew Stevens. Like, what's that like? It's like
Exactly.
that's an insane thing to say, but maybe
When
it's
you
what
look at Andrew Stevens Entertainment, they have 30 movies,
that's
and
amazing.
you get some interesting ones. Missionary Man, the Dolph Lundgren film.
Right?
That
That
Yeah, The Marksman, the Detonator, two the Snipes movies. Um,
yes,
he did a movie called Pursued with
I love Pursuit.
Christian Slater. Right, so
I
he did
love that movie.
Pursued and Pursuit.
That's amazing. I love Pursuit. That's like I wish Christian
Yeah.
Slater would hit the convention because he's getting Hollow Man 2 and Pursued.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know if you've ever seen Pursued. I always recommend it to people.
I'll have to take a look 'cause I feel like I have, but maybe not. I,
It's worth watching. I'm not like I'm always goofing around, but it is pretty fun. It's
with
Christian
Michael
Slater.
Clark Duncan,
Yeah, it's Christian Slater's absolute best. Gil Bellows at his weakest.
Estella Warren, right? You got to have Estella Warren in there.
Godzilla Warren
Oh,
and
see, you guys reviewed it, so yeah,
I reviewed that one. Yeah.
so this one must have missed me when I was doing, but catching up on the Slaters when I was doing the early part of my site. I think this one may not have been available or something. I don't know how I missed this one,
I
but
was there's something about it. It's because it's Christian Slater's absolute best. He has the classic Christian Slater voice. He's evil. That's not a spoiler.
yeah.
And like you can just tell he's evil. He says weird things in it. It's like he must have just gave him free reign. But what else did he make? Andrew Stevens, you're saying?
So that production company, I mean, yeah, there was a Tara Reid movie. Let's see what it was called.
What's that?
It's
Oh,
called
Silent Partner.
Yes, Silent Partner. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
exactly.
classic.
Did a couple Sorbo films like the Walking Tall direct-to-video sequels. Uh, so yeah, it's interesting what Steven's got it, and of course Black Dawn, right? We know that one.
Oh, God, that's his best producing work. And Gale
Right,
Force
Gilmore.
and
Yeah,
Blades.
yeah. So Andrew Stevens, I mean, he's an interesting figure in the direct-to-video.
Yeah.
Probably someone who needs to be considered maybe for the Hall of Fame. I probably should start tagging more of his stuff. I think I only tag him as an actor, so I probably need to start
Right.
tagging him more.
I think did I message you about a year ago? I was watching Walking Tall, Lone Justice. I rewatched it. I think I took a picture of Andrew Stevens.
I think you did. Yes, you did.
And I
Yeah,
think
I
my
believe
cat
so.
also was watching Andrew Stevens or Kevin
Yeah.
Sorbo. Like I think Shadow the cat likes Kevin Sorbo. I mean, like
Yes.
she likes Kevin Sorbo. She really likes Statham. She likes Samurai Cop a lot.
Yes,
Like
that's right.
where she sat there watching it and then she moved up and watched it more. It's like I don't know how cats like Samurai Cop. And she kind of liked the Blacklist a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
funny how what cats like. I don't know if your cat watches TV. It's like
So what he does is he likes to of our two cats, one doesn't really care, but the other one he will sometimes pop up because the way our TV the TV stand or like the kind of the big entertainment kind of center thing or whatever, the TV is set back a little bit, so he'll jump up so that he's right in front of the TV. He seems to like sports more than anything. That
okay,
seems to be the thing that gets him.
or maybe because it's kind of like a ball that would be like a toy that you can chase.
Yeah,
Just like,
exactly. I think that's what it is. Yeah, we always worry about him knocking the TV over, so it's always like a,
oh,
we're always nervous about that happening. You see so many viral videos of that. The
yes.
cat. Yeah, so that's
Mittens,
always our fear.
or Snuffles, or
Right, right.
I make up. Sometimes I see cats when I take a walk in where I am, and
Yeah,
it's like I don't have their names. Sometimes I have the cat names, but one of them was called. I just made it up named Fluffles.
yeah.
But it's like, but actually, the cat name was actually named Adam.
Oh, nice.
Adam the cat. But I
Adam the
called it.
cat.
I didn't know it was Adam. I just called it Fluffles. But
Right.
I see also that Andrew Stevens did produce the Agent Red, one of your favorites.
Yes, that's right with Wynorski. Yep, that's a great one.
I just like your impression of Dolph Lundgren. I'm just trying to see if I can get
Oh, right. Where when they're getting ready to fly, and he's like, so what? You think you can fly that thing? Hell if I know.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, are you gonna get out in time? Don't wait for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always said to our other cat, JD, like if he's sitting on the edge of the bed, if you're walking around it, he'll kind of reach out, put his claw out for me, and so I'll be like, "Don't reach for me,"
You say that in the Dolph Lundgren voice. That's
in the Dolph
hilarious.
Lundgren voice. Yeah, don't reach for me.
That's brilliant. But yeah, Andrew Stevens has produced some actually pretty fun movies. Oh, Crash Dive, of course, has Christopher Titus.
Right,
Uh,
that's right. That's
but
right.
Host or whatever it's called, the sequel.
Yeah.
Can't remember the title right now.
Right.
Has a fake Christopher Titus.
Yeah.
What's it called? Countermeasures.
Oh, countermeasures. That's right.
The
Yes.
character
Yeah.
has the character of Christopher Titus, but you couldn't get Christopher Titus, so they got a Christopher Titus look like. It's like it's like
Yes.
that is. I wish I could ask Andrew Stevens that. It's like that's my one question. It's like, how'd you get the Christopher Titus look-alike in this movie? And off to the insane asylum with Annette. Someone would teach me of
Right.
Annette. But it's like,
Exactly.
there's
Yeah,
a
it
funny
looks like
movie
as a
of Annette.
producer, he's going into Christian stuff now. Um,
Oh, okay.
so
So what's like
interesting, like Finding
porno?
Faith is a movie. Yeah, I think there's money from a direct to video standpoint in that kind of stuff, and so I guess that's maybe an area he's going. But yeah, I mean, man, I didn't realize he not only did he do Black Dawn, he also did Shadow Man from
I love that.
Seagal, which
Did
I
he
would have
do
thought.
Go ahead.
Uh, I was gonna say I would have thought Black Dawn was such a horrible experience for him that he wouldn't have worked with Seagal again, but he's like, no, I'll do Shadow Man with him. So,
And
um,
the detonator. I like to know what's like working on snipes. I mean, like also the marksman. You are violating Russian airspace. It's like
right?
the trailer is so low rent of the
Yeah,
marksman. I mean, it's like
yeah,
this movie. The trailer wasn't finished. It's like, here's a movie. It's like
yeah.
here's your movie. Shut up.
Oh man, I didn't know Andrew Stevens produced Battlefield Earth. Um,
That's a,
wow.
never
Yeah,
sat through that because I hear it's just not. It's just all shot in those Dutch angles. Like I can't take that. It'll give me a headache.
right,
Like,
exactly.
and we'll see. Oh, Sea Files and Miles to Graceland. Also Christian Slater, but
Yeah,
also Kevin Costner.
right, exactly.
I just that's a Christian Slater movie to me. And John Lovitz.
Yes.
I heard it's not very good. I heard it's pretty bad. I did see some clips of it though. Have you seen that?
No, I've never seen it either, so I've been meaning to as well because it is kind of
Well,
a
yeah. Oh, Howie Long. Maybe I should rewatch. Maybe I really should. Why did I didn't watch this? It came out how
yeah,
long ago? Oh my god, 20 years ago.
right.
Maybe I should just watch it finally. What am I doing?
No, I
What am I
know.
doing with my life? I need to watch 2,000 miles like Raceland.
Right. Yes, right. I feel like I need to watch that one too. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny with Andrew Stevens as the producer here. He's probably in the 30 club on my site, maybe even in the 40 club with how many movies he's produced that have been reviewed. So it's kind of funny, like some of these names that come up in in our ecosystem, our low budget movie ecosystem. Someone like an Andrew Stevens, I always took for granted that I'd see his name on stuff, but no, he's kind of a big deal, and I guess that also might get to why this movie is so junky because from an Andrew Stevens standpoint, right? It's like I'm gonna get the names in the film, I'm gonna get some explosions, and I'm gonna call it good.
And
And
there were
and
real explosions, by the way.
yeah,
Which
there's some real ones and some fake ones, right? We had some real ones and some fake ones.
yeah, the big ones, the real ones. And then there's some weird line in the movie too. I forgot to say this. This is not cotton candy. It's dance fever. Like, what?
That's
I
I forgot about that.
I had to rewind it like three. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like my brain.
No,
No.
this movie is a fascinating. I think for people looking to watch movies, I think if you want, if you, so where's River Runs Red is probably just a skip, just because it's just kind of, it's hard to kind of, it goes off the tracks. This
Yeah.
movie starts off the tracks. There are no tracks
Good.
for this movie, and so if you're interested in this movie, you really got to just like go into it saying, okay, I'm not going to try to follow any kind of plot. I'm not going to try to figure out who any of these people are, and I'm just going to let this thing happen and just sort of take each scene as it's almost like
Yeah.
its own like little vignette within the film.
That,
And if things
that,
connect a little bit, but don't try to figure it out, because if you try to figure it out, you're going to get angry. And then when you get
yeah.
the torture sequences, which is there are a couple torture sequences, then
Yes.
you because there's the thing that makes the movie worse, right, than torture. And so when you get the torture sequences, it's like, okay, really, you're doing this now? You just got to let it go. And also
Well,
with the torture sequences, just trust that they hint at them being really bad, but they cut away. So it's
that's
just whatever it is.
well, in this version of torture sequences, people look different, and then they don't.
Yes,
And they do.
right, exactly,
It's like,
exactly,
and that
exactly.
helped the movie a lot in the torture sequence. But I guess
Yeah.
but I'm gonna count it as maybe a recommend. I kind of a light recommend on this one.
Yeah, I think it
It's,
depends on what kind of mood you're in,
yeah,
and
exactly.
again, what you kind of want out of a movie. But I agree with you. I think when I was watching, when I first started the movie, I was angry with it. I was like, I don't know who any of these people are. I don't get what's going on. None of this stuff makes sense. When I sort of just like leaned into it and just said, just do whatever you're gonna do, movie.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
yeah,
worry
do
about
whatever
it.
you want. I don't care
Yeah.
anymore. And
And then you
then they
got
started
Cusack
laughing.
like putting the rub, with the
Yes,
Montreal steak
yes.
rub on his steaks while he's like the best is when he gets a phone call while he's putting the rub on his steaks and he has to like wash his hands so he can answer the phone. Um, that's probably the best
Yep.
Cusack you get in the movie.
It's like that's like made in like real time. He's making these steaks in real time. It's like, oh, I'll
Exactly.
make some steak. It's like they must have shot at his house or something. And it's
Right,
like,
exactly.
and then they got a dummy steak grill to blow because he's not gonna blow up his real steak grill. He paid
No.
good money for that while he's making the factory.
Right, right,
Like, I don't know if you
exactly.
sure.
Exactly. That's what he
he,
was doing while he was making the factory. He was just thinking about his steak grill, and because
yeah.
these steaks are pretty robust. I mean, there's a lot of fat on them, though.
Yeah,
I
gotta be
understand.
careful with that. He's getting older.
Yeah, I mean, the fat adds flavor, but yeah, I mean, he's what? He's almost 60. He's gonna be 60 next year.
Oh my goodness. He needs to,
So yeah,
he should
you
go to
gotta be careful
he's
with that. You're not a youngin anymore. You can't eat that kind of stuff with the cholesterol.
exactly.
Excellent.
Yeah, but
Well,
it's funny about the steak rub. You just like you can't help but laugh at that. Of course, there's rub. Of course, there's rubbing steaks.
right, right. Of course, you can't just throw them on the grill. Yeah, I mean that's the other thing too. Is like if you're supposed to be like this really rich guy, like wouldn't the steaks be so good on their own that you don't need to put the rub on them?
Maybe that's how they
But
make them. If you go to John Cusack's house, we'll have to ask.
yeah,
Like,
I wonder if he's got like a whole like cabinet full of rubs that like he just
yes, he does.
yeah, he collects them. You know how people like collect hot sauces when they travel?
Yeah, he
I wonder
collects
if he
rub.
collects rubs. Yeah, he goes to like gift shops and things like that wherever he travels, and he gets a new rub.
I can
Yeah,
see that. And then you look at his cat, like, wow, look at all these rubs, John.
right.
Like,
Yeah, I
he's like,
got
I'll do the Mediterranean today. It's like, oh, that sounds good.
yeah, I got this one in Utah. Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, I was there for yeah. That's that's
I got this one in Australia. I was making Drive Hard. Like, what's that? A movie. That's not.
right. They had their own Australian steak rub that he was. Maybe it was in China. Maybe they have steak rubs in China. I would be afraid to take anything back with me from China because you just don't know what's going to upset the government there and get
Yeah,
you arrested. So
you want to go into these Chinese prisons just because you stole some steak rub.
exactly. Yeah,
It's like,
yeah. So yeah, I guess it's kind of getting like that in America too. If you're traveling to America, be careful. Make sure you pay fully for your steak rubs and make sure you declare everything as you're leaving the country, so you don't get caught by ICE and end up because that's it's not worth it. ICE imprisonment is not worth it for the steak rub. So,
no,
but we do have a lot of fancy steak rubs here in America. It's a
we do.
fun, yeah.
Choose it anytime you want. You can go to your. Do you have a Stop and Shop where you are? But there's a lot of steak rubs there.
So is Stop and Shop? I think Stop and Shop is Giant down here.
Okay.
Is the Stop and Shop have the little symbol of like the three little like I don't know like
Like
half
like
moons.
the signals. Yeah, it's
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
stop.
think
I call it stop and plop. That's more.
exactly. Yeah. So
No,
yeah,
and
yeah, I
that's
think
stupid. But I can't. I
right.
just call. I'm gonna go stop and plop. I don't care.
Right, exactly. Well, because we used to have them in, in New England, they didn't have Stop and Shop quite up into Maine, but they had it like Massachusetts. Yeah, and I guess, yeah, Connecticut, Rhode Island. But then down here, I guess Giant, I think, is the same company as Stop and Shop. And so that's why we don't have Stop and Shop here. We have Giant, but it's like the symbols are the same. And like, so if you go into the store, it looks the same.
I mean, do you still have Wawa or no?
Oh yes. Well, they closed a lot of the ones in the city because well they said it was because of crime in the city, but actually they closed a lot of them because in the city you can't put gas tanks. And so Wawa
Uh,
makes a lot of money by people filling up on their gas tanks and then buying food. They kind of double dip. So almost all the city ones have closed, unfortunately.
Because we used to have a Wawa, and then they changed it to Crowders.
Yeah.
And then so it's like
Yeah, so I guess Wawa tried to venture into Connecticut and then it wasn't successful. I guess
it
they
was
they
around for a while, and then some German guy took it over, I guess. But it's like, but it's just kind of funny. And then we used to have. Well, I want to go back in the past. We used to have Walden books. We used to have
Oh
A,
yes.
Caldors, Bradley's.
Yes.
The video stores, of course, Tommy K's.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, Bradley's was a great one. You'd have like those red carts,
Yes,
the
and I
red
think we
plastic
played
carts.
a game there. Maybe it was Caldors, but I know I played Street Fighter 2 there.
Yeah.
Like my childhood memories.
Yeah. Yeah, they had good stuff there. And I think I guess Walmart kind of ran them out of business. They
Oh, yeah, exactly. There's just a
yeah.
huge Walmart in front of where Bradley's and Caldors used to be, really. And we
Yeah.
also have Aldi's. Do you have that?
Oh yes, yeah, we got Aldi's. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you never, it's funny with Aldi's. I haven't gone there in a while. I used to go to Aldi's, but
Oh, okay.
it's like you'd get like the tortilla chips and they'd say on the bag that they were genetically modified. And so on the one hand, I was like, okay, it's great that they're being, upfront about the fact that they're genetically modified. Whereas like, like Tostitos or whatever, they're not going to tell you that they're genetically modified. But on the other hand, I was like, I'm definitely getting something for not paying much when I go to Aldi's. Like I'm definitely
Well,
like
I
I'm
mean, that's funny they say that like right on the bags. Like, didn't
yeah,
that hide that? Like, well, look at Jay Leno.
right.
Crunch Oil will make more, right?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
Tostitos.
Yeah. So
Like,
that was Doritos for
oh,
him. So that
Doritos.
was
That's
to
gonna
Doritos.
make more.
Yeah.
Genetically modified. It'll make more. It's like
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, Doritos, man. What was recently? Oh, I had to go to this work thing in DC and I was trying to find where like the food and stuff was. And I only had like 15 minutes between sessions and I just saw a bag of Doritos and I was like, that's it. That's what I'm gonna have. I eventually found sandwiches after, but I
oh,
was
okay.
like, I need something in my system. And the Doritos, I was like, yeah, this is great. So
I have sometimes like, well, that's all you got. It's kind
yeah,
of like back in the day of these old MTV shows like we mentioned last time.
yeah,
It's all we had. It's like
yeah,
so it's either Doritos or is that or Silent Library. But I mean,
exactly.
Date My Mom or what's the other one I keep thinking of? I mentioned these other last time, but it's
Oh yeah, Date My Mom. Yeah, there was some. Yeah.
Date My Mom, but it was something. It was another date. Oh, it was parental guidance. No,
Yes,
it's
that
something.
right. Yes, parental guidance. I think was when the parents would complain. And then
Yeah,
what was it? Was it Next? Was that the one where?
that's a classic. Yeah.
Yeah. What was the one where it was like one person would date two people at the same time, and they had a card that was like this like cheap laminated thing that they would say, "Oh, you get a timeout," and that so they would get alone
Right.
time.
It's very nexty. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, it was something
why
along those lines.
that's funny. Maybe I can look it up really fast, but
Yeah.
there's a show on MTV. It was called Spider Games,
Oh,
Spyder.
yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Did you ever watch that? Or
No, no, I remember being out. Yeah.
I never had a chance to really. Well, see what oh, I'm looking it up on YouTube by accident. Oh, Date My Mom's on YouTube. We have one full episode. I
Oh, look
met.
at that. Nylon.com has 11 forgotten MTV dating shows.
Oh, okay.
So singled out, of course, we know singled out. That's not really forgotten. Dismissed. I think that's what it was.
Dismissed.
Dismissed.
Yes,
Yeah.
dismissed. Okay.
Yeah. Tail daters. Did you remember tail daters?
Tail daters and there's room raiders.
Room Raiders, that's the next one that comes up is Room Raiders. Yeah, that one
Yeah.
lasted a lot longer than Tail Daters did. Yeah. Date My Mom, of course, you just mentioned that one's on here. Next, of course, right? So that's the one we talked about. That's a big one. Score, I don't remember Score.
Remember that
Oh, it
one?
looks like it has Ryan Cabrera. Oh, that's right, the Ryan Cabrera
Right,
dating show.
Cabrera.
That's
That's a name I
right,
would.
On the Way Down. Yeah. Wow, that's right. Aspiring songwriters, they work with Ryan Cabrera to write a song for the person they have a thing for. That's right.
Right.
You just mentioned
Wow,
parental
that's
control.
funny to
Yeah.
hear that. That's
Oh,
hilarious.
so they list A Shot at Love with Tila Tequila as a dating show. I think that's more of a reality show. That's not really a dating show.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
I guess. Yeah, that's a weird program. Yeah, I
yeah,
bought the first season and like I watched it a couple years ago. It was really funny, but
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
am I okay? This is gonna take me all day to finish. And it's like, all right, let me pick up a Danish. It's it's like pick up a cheeseburger and a Danish. Wow, what a great time you
Right.
got. That. But yeah,
Exactly.
but you had to for a show like that.
Yeah. And then Exposed. Exposed was one that came
Right,
out after Next, where I think
exposed.
they had the lie detector. Was that what it was?
I remember that. I don't see
Yeah.
this thing. I didn't really watch them, but you kind of flip. I used to watch Next, and
Yes.
sometimes my mom.
Yeah. Yeah. And then that other one, the Dismissed. I remember that
Yes,
one.
you remember that now. You say that. And that's
Yeah. And I
I don't.
do kind of remember the Ryan Cabrera one score. I just, Ryan Cabrera was just like like if I hear I was in CVS the other day and
Uh,
I think it was 40 Kinds of Sadness. I don't think it was On the Way Down, but maybe it was On the Way Down. But it was like one of those things where I was like, I kind of want to stay in line longer so I can listen to On the Way Down. I haven't heard this in a while. And then there's that realization of like I could listen to On the Way Down anytime I want. I can listen to it on YouTube. I can put it on Spotify. Like I don't have to wait around at CVS to hear it just because it's playing, you know. So it's like one of those realities. And I am admitting that
something
I
about
like
that
Ryan
though. You
Cabrera.
wanted to hear it,
Yeah,
like instead of going on the tube.
yeah, yeah. So
Right. It's
yeah,
like we have these people like this, even in the Jackass days, you had Jonathan Knoxville, and then uh, Stephen O. Now they're older, so they had to be more distinguished. But
yeah.
it's like
Stephen O.
Stephen.
Yeah.
I don't. There's some other guy, right? Oh, Bam
Oh,
Margera.
Bam. Yeah, he's from this area. He's from the Philly area.
Oh, he is.
I think
Wasn't he
so. Yeah, I
Phil
think he's around the suburbs. Yeah.
Damagen? It's like I never watched that one. I mean, I used to watch those kind of shows, and then I guess I had to grow up eventually. It's just
Right. Exactly. That's what happens.
unfortunately we
Yeah.
all have to.
Yeah.
But we can probably go
Exactly.
to our spotlight on a fight.
Yeah, let's do this. But so the Warriors, classic
Yes.
film. I mean, it's interesting. A lot of our spotlight and fights there are classic movies. I don't know I don't know if you call uh, Hologram Man a classic, but I think it's classic enough, right?
Enough. Sure.
Yeah, but everybody knows what the Warriors is about. We're talking about the fight with the Baseball Furies. So the Baseball Furies, they're one of the gangs. They're wearing like old flannel baseball uniforms, which is really great. And their faces are painted.
They
Um,
all look like Marilyn Manson to me. All
they
the
all look
faces.
great. Exactly. They've got their face. They've got baseball bats, and of course, as we know what happens to the Warriors, right? You got the gang of the Warriors. They're accused of killing somebody, and they're accused of assassinating a gang leader, and they've got to make it. What they got to get to Coney Island is where
Gotta
they
get
got
the
to get to.
Coney. I gotta get the
I was going to
Coney.
say the Rockaways. No, it's Coney Island. They got to get to Coney Island and from the Bronx, which is that's a long time if you got to even taking a subway there. It's a long time. So
And they
imagine
tried to
having
take
to
the
walk
subway.
there.
They have so much trouble. All these
Right.
freaking gangs are after them. You got the
Ex-
punks, and then you got the baseball furies.
Right. And so the Baseball Furies, I think that's Central Park where they encounter the Baseball
Yeah.
Furies, I believe. And at first they run away from them. But then the Warriors, because the Warriors are so good, they start to kind of break off a little bit and sort of fade out. So then you've got just James Remar and
Yeah.
one of the other guys, I think it's Tom McKitterick as Cowboy. They're running, and Tom McKitterick starts to get winded. And Remar says, "Hey, you tell me you can't run anymore." And he goes, "Yeah." And he's like, "Good. I'm glad you can't run anymore." And so he
Right.
stops.
He
Um,
says, I'm sick of running from these wimps." It's like,
exactly. Yeah. And I think before that happens, I think the other guys in the group had picked off one of the Baseball Furies and took him out. Um, but then, yeah, so Remar he beats up one of the guys, and then they surround him. And he says to the one guy who's advancing towards him after they surround him, he goes, "I'm gonna stick that baseball up your ass, and you're gonna be a popsicle." I think I get the line right, something like
yeah,
that, right?
yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
brilliant line by Remar.
right,
And
exactly.
then,
I mean, young Remar, we don't get a lot. We're used to older Remar. We're used to seeing
Great.
90s, 2000s Remar. Young Remar is an underappreciated gem that we have.
He's always been good. I mean,
Yeah.
he's always. I don't know if he's made the cruds that we want him to make. I mean, like, I think he kind of skated. I also know a person who skated a little bit. Barbara Hershey. I
Yes.
looked at Hershey
Yes.
the other day,
Yeah.
and I don't know why I was looking at Barbara Hershey. Well, also I have Hershey the cat. But also,
Right.
besides that, it's like Barbara Hershey never went down the cred road. I noticed. I was looking at it, like,
No, Remar does some if you go
he does.
like in the 90s. He has more in the 90s. But yeah, when you look at his 2000 stuff, he does a lot of like small or actually, oh, he is in Speed Kills, the
Well,
Travolta crud.
and also he's in Setup with the Bruce Willis
That's
one.
right. That's right. So he
Okay,
does them from time to time. Yeah, he but not as often as you would think. He does a lot of small parts and big ones. He was in Oppenheimer. He was in Megalopolis, the recent
okay,
Francis Ford Coppola did. So he does some of those. He did Yellowstone episodes. So he's doing that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think yeah, I was gonna say I thought in the 90s, I think I've reviewed a few Remar films on the site. Um, but he doesn't do as much as you think. He's someone who has a different kind of career, it seems like, where he's
yeah,
kind of
it kind of goes back and forth. It's like, but I just found something that's perfect for the podcast with James Remar. You got Decommissioned. You
okay,
got to see this
decommit.
cast: Messner, Vinnie Jones, Estella Warren, James Remar, Michael Paré, and Richard Burgi.
Yeah, okay. So
Okay,
this one
that
might be. Oh, and I've seen this one looking at the cover with the flag and everything.
you saw
Um,
it? Is there a
I've
review?
seen not, I haven't seen the actual movie. I've seen it advertised on Tubi. So,
Oh,
oh, this could be.
I
Yeah,
think
you're
that's.
right. This might be perfect for what we do.
Oh my goodness! It's like as everyone and Timothy Woodward Jr., the director of the movie I can't think of right now, American Violence, right?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. So
Drunk,
this is.
drunk.
Yeah. This could be. This looks like a great one. Yeah. The other thing I was going to say about Remar was also
But
Too Fast, Too Furious.
he's back again.
Yeah. So he was at. So Too Fast, Too Furious comes up again. So um,
We the movie a lot on the podcast that we do.
yeah, I know you're right. Of all the Fast and but because I think it is like underrated out of the Fast and Furious movies. Like people don't they tend to not like that one or whatever. But I think you get the best Tyrese Gibson in that. It's probably why we bring it up a lot because we bring up Tyrese
That's
Gibson a lot.
we bring him
Yeah,
up a lot. Yeah,
yeah.
because
But Remar as the police officer is I forgot he's fantastic. He's like the guy from Monk who's in the first Fast and Furious movie. Um,
what are you talking about?
yeah, I can't remember think of that actor's name,
Ted
but
Levine.
yeah, I think so. Right. Yeah, Ted Levine, exactly. Yeah, and then you also get the that detective who's I think he was on Cold Case. He was also in
Cool.
Riot. Remember he was in Riot as the
I do.
parents. Yeah,
Uh,
he was the dad that when Daniel shows up at his house. And remember they were broke because the dad lost his job.
Sounds familiar, but
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
he ends up giving him a bunch of money, but anyway, so that guy was in the first and second Fast and Furious movie. So you get these detectives, and Remar is like perfect as a Fast and Furious movie
he has
detective.
a great voice too. It's like
Yeah,
even like young Mimar, he's just like he's very intimidating. It's
yeah,
like, and he's like, I don't think the Baseball Furies have a chance to go back to the fight. I mean, like,
no,
it's like,
no. And I mean, he starts taking these guys out. It's like they're
yeah,
using bats, and he's just dodging them and just taking them down. And then the rest of the crew shows up. So you get Michael Beck as Swan. He shows up. The rest of the crew is there. And the funny thing is that the Furies, you take for granted the Furies, like they use bats as part of their thing. You think they'd be better at using them, but the
he was,
Warriors are actually the ones who are better at using them. They're better at using them to like defend, to block them, but
yeah,
also to like disarm them and stuff.
yeah, he blocked a bunch of hits. I think it was what the green or blue faced Baseball
Right.
Furies. Blocked like
Yes.
6 to 8 hits.
Right. He just like
Wow.
holds it up and just keeps blocking them. And it's like, you think you want, but see, the thing is, when they're getting blocked by hitting up high, kind of coming down, when they try to swing straight across at the stomach, they just dodge that. So it's like, there really isn't any move that you can do against the Warriors when you're the Furies.
That's a good point. And then I every time the Warriors punched one of the Furies, I went yes.
Yes. Exactly.
Every time I did it, it's like this movie's awesome.
Yeah.
I always loved it. I mean, like, I'm gonna actually watch it this summer because my birthday's not for a few more months, but
Yeah.
we watch stuff with friends, and
Yeah.
I said, okay, I gotta pick the Warriors. We might even watch it. I don't know. I think maybe we'll do that soon, or maybe Demolition Man. But
Yep. That was a great one too.
I think I gotta watch the Warriors. It's so good.
Yeah, and according to IMDb, it is on Prime right now. It looks like,
Okay,
and I mean it's an absolute class. Or sorry, not Prime, Paramount Plus. It's on Paramount
right.
Plus. And then
Just can't
Prime,
pull that
it's on the MGM station, which I don't know what that is. I don't know why they don't just
MGM
make that
Plus.
Prime, but
I don't get that. I mean, like,
yeah,
because I think is the new Statham, is that coming out from MGM or Amazon?
I think that's going to be on direct to Prime. I think that's what Statham has like a direct to Prime
The
contract. I think.
going to the theater, but I mean, like, I'm gonna go see a Working Man probably with Brett. And
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah, I
it's
think I'm going to catch that in the theater too when it comes out. I
it
haven't
looks
been to the movie theater for a while. I haven't been since I went and saw the Nosferatu movie for when I was doing the
oh,
Lambcast podcast. But I was
how is
going to see the new Captain America, but I just never made it. It just wasn't a good time to go see it. So
Nosferatu?
not great.
That's what I
It's not
heard.
horrible. It's not horrible, but it's just like I don't know that it's the kind of thing you'd want to spend 2 hours of your day on.
I'm
When you
able
got
to
the
watch.
Kinski one, especially when you get the Kinski Herzog one
Yeah,
out there.
like, what's this one hanging around for? I mean, like,
Right.
and
Yeah.
then but Working Man looks like a movie that we would watch. I mean, like, it looks like another classic Statham beat 'em up. I mean, like, get ready for war. But now I'm a working. Like,
Oh, it's actually I didn't realize it's coming out this weekend. Oh, I don't know if I'll be
coming out
able to
this
see it this
weekend. Coming out
weekend.
this weekend. Well,
Yeah, it's
because
coming out Friday. Yeah.
I I'm I can't speak. I signed up the Working Man on Instagram. Like
Hmm.
as a teenage girl. It's like, all right, I'll be and so I see all their posts now.
Yeah.
So I just see every single ad for the Working Man because I just put that. It's like, are you a cop? It's like, you wish I was a cop. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like, and then he's just blowing up everything. And like, this looks good. I mean, like, you feel like we just saw that in The Beekeeper, but I mean,
Right.
like, and once
Yeah.
again, he has a job, but now his job's not named. He's just a working man,
Just a plain old working man. Yeah. Just
and it's almost a joke, right? That is that like a joke because
yeah.
every other movie he's in, he has a job.
Right.
It's
Right.
like what's his next movie? I think he's
Exactly.
out of jobs. Unemployed would be the next movie.
That
It's
would
like,
be a
who's
great one. That would be a great one. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
unemployed?
Now,
Or
I
I
didn't know
thought
Stallone co-wrote Working Man.
that's amazing. So I guess it could
Yeah.
be a bit more wacky than usual.
I agree that this could be an interesting one. So one of the things I was noticing when I was looking up the times to see it here in Philly, the AMC Dine-In here in Philly that I see a lot of movies at, looks like they're only showing it at 10 p.m., which I really can't do that. I don't know how.
Oh,
Uh,
late.
yeah,
10 p.m.
I'd missed
Thursday?
I think I'd missed the last subway back. So
My goodness.
yeah, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to see the
Subway to
theater,
Coney,
unfortunately.
right? Just like the
Yeah.
Warriors.
Right, right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it would be. Here in Philly, yes, the Warriors, it would be, and I'm not anywhere near a James Remar. So, but it would be like the Warriors if I was coming home at that late in the midnight
Yeah.
from Philly. Yeah,
That,
it
yeah.
would probably be, I would, there'd be like people probably banging, bottles together, or whatever, going, Warrior, I don't know if they'd be,
How about this Warriors? I know
right,
you're in
Warrior,
Poirier.
exactly, Warrior.
Warriors come out to
Right,
play.
exactly, exactly. Right. And I'd be like, oh God, I can't believe that the Working Man wasn't. It was great. It wasn't worth this. Like yeah, it's gonna get.
Is it because it's Thursday? It's a late
No,
show.
no.
Or,
Even no, I was looking like even like over the weekend, they're only showing 10 minutes. It might
oh,
just be that it's IMDb. It might be IMDb's not doing a good job of showing
oh,
me the times. But because they
yeah,
did that, I think they did that before. Because what I like about the AMC Dine is they usually have like a 9:30, 10 a.m. viewing.
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I just get there early. I usually get there before they even open because they can't be bothered to open on time. So yeah, I just show up and I have popcorn for breakfast, popcorn and whatever kind of mixed soda that I get
That's
for
fun. Mixed. What do you do? Like what Pepsi and like
no
orange.
no, that's like they have their own. Like remember the
Oh, you
Toretto
have that
twist.
machine.
That's right. Yeah,
Oh,
that's the
we don't
machine.
have that at our movie theater. We don't have that. We have
Oh,
a theater called Cinemark. Probably have you've
mhm.
heard of that. They
Yes,
don't
oh yeah,
have
I've heard of
the
Cinemark.
soda
Yeah.
machine. They have that at a Five Guys that we have here, but and I think they have it at a place called Moe's. I don't know if you have a Moe's where you are. They have the soda machine. You can
Oh,
mix your.
the whatchamacallit
In
place.
Mexico.
The Mex yeah, so where do we have a Moe's? I think we do have one near us. Yeah, they're kind of more in the suburbs. It seems like a lot of those places they don't want to open them in the city for whatever reason.
Yeah,
So
we're like it's in this plaza called the Hamden Plaza. A shout out to
yeah,
people who live in Hamden listening to this, or the Ham, I guess.
the
Yeah, it's in the
ham.
Plaza Ham, right? So you got your Moe's Grill. You got Tattoo Part. Was the Tattoo Part still there? No. It was nail salon, but the nail salon was supposedly in trouble for extra activities. They'll say.
Oh, one of
So
those kind of deals. Okay.
I think it got shut down. That was the rumor. I heard it like 15 years ago. It's like I don't know if that's true or not. I think maybe people were just making jokes, but it's like, and then we have a ShopRite um, grocery store,
Oh yeah, you gotta have one of those. Yeah.
and Wingstop. So
Oh wait, yeah. So yeah, we don't for some reason we don't have Wingstop. We have like these other ones that are like poor man's versions of Wingstops.
okay.
So yeah,
I mean,
I
I stop. I mean, it's like it's all right. I mean, like
yeah,
I like food on a plate. It's like movie on a screen. It's like here's your
exactly.
like it's like what else do we have in our plaza? You must have plazas too. I'm trying to.
Yeah, we do. So they're on like they're on either side. So I live near this main drag, Oregon Ave, and on either side of Oregon Ave, there's like that kind of like yeah, you get those plazas. So like you get a Chili's and stuff like
Okay,
that.
yeah, we and then they moved. But it's just a
Yeah,
place called Cheshire. Kind of good.
yeah, yeah. So you get that kind of stuff. It's
Wallingford. So,
yeah, like it's interesting. So like when you get out of the suburbs, those things, and I mean the other thing too, of course, with those things is that like I know here in Philly, it's like there's some areas where it's hard to walk, but I'm used to walking everywhere. And it's like whenever I go out to the suburbs, it's always a different ball game, right? Because it's like a lot of those like plazas and those things, they don't have like sidewalks or they're not
yeah,
meant for
yeah,
walking. They're meant for driving to them.
really. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I will say this fight was pretty good of the Warriors. I mean, like it
Yeah.
delivered on every punch and every
Yeah.
It's like this is good.
Yes, exactly. It's
I guess
the movie's a classic. I've got to watch it again. I
yeah, I'm
didn't
gonna
get a chance
yeah,
to
I'm gonna
watch
watch
it for
it.
the, but it's worth. I mean, it's it's a classic. What else can you say?
And the other thing I want to mention about this fight scene is the music. It's just very exciting.
Yes.
It's like do, 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 do. It's like that's really cool. I don't how did they think of all this stuff? What a movie. It's a great movie. I mean, what was supposed to be our original fight? Was it we still haven't done Mel Gibson versus Stallone in Expendables 3.
Right. We need to do an Expendables
But
3 fight.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So we got
I
to
think
get.
we did all three. I think we did Stallone versus Austin, Stallone versus Van Damme, and then Stallone versus Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I
So we
already
got to.
watched the Stallone versus Mel Gibson one like 10 times already.
I know the
It's like
Stone Banks. We need some Stone Banks. That's what
this is
that might
so
be our next one. Yeah.
because I just we don't have those anymore. These kind of like these last fights. It's like
Yes.
you
Yeah.
ever maybe
Yeah.
I'm really stuck in the old times. But I mean, like you get these last fights. I love that.
Yeah.
Another good example. Um,
Well,
I don't
because
know.
we even had one with Crescent City where you had Terrence
That's right. That's the
Howard
last
and
fight. Yeah, that was
yeah.
Terrence Howard versus Esai Morales.
So
It's like
yeah,
they're doing the
exactly.
last fight. Like
Yeah.
yes. It's like I love last fight, or I love super long exposition like Scream 6. Did you watch Scream 6 yet?
I haven't seen anything after the third Scream, so I'm way behind on Screams.
Oh, you're right on Scream. Okay. Well, I
Yeah.
think it's almost a joke now, but
Yeah.
every Scream movie has this long. Well, Scream 3 had long exposition, if you remember. It was
Yes.
just
Yeah.
Scott Foley just talking about 20 minutes. Like, that's you, and you're that, and you're your mom, and your dad. Like, oh, okay. It's almost a parody, almost, I think,
Yeah.
in Scream 6 with Dermot Mulroney doing this long. But don't people who love exposition check out Fantasy Island, the movie with Lucy Hale.
Oh yes.
If you love exposition, well, maybe I love it too much. I won't give it away. It's amazing what they do with the exposition in that movie.
I bet.
I think it might be a top 3 exposition movie because it's like, wow, okay,
Yes, exactly.
it's
Exactly.
hilarious. Maybe some of the streamers. I don't know. It's also it's a pretty good movie too.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
least
You
I
can
have a
always.
Lucy Hale bias, but
Yes. Yeah. She always does her thing in movies. She's You
Well,
know?
I hear the new one's not as good as it could be. The F Mary Kill movie went straight to on demand
Oh
from
yes,
our
yeah,
friend at Lionsgate or some,
yeah, yeah,
and I hear it's just not as good as it could be. It's like it's not very thrilling. It's not very funny. It's not very gory. Like, what is this thing? I think it's just like mediocre, unfortunately.
yeah. That
But
happens,
I'll
you
still
know.
watch it. Lucy Hale.
Yeah, yeah. She does.
Maybe it's not that bad. Yeah, I'll make my own opinion.
Right, right. Exactly,
I
exactly,
think
exactly. Yeah,
anything else
yeah.
on hey,
Well,
good
I was gonna
plug.
say, yeah, it's time for the plugs. I think
Yes.
we're at that time of the episode already.
Wow.
It's plugs
Fast
time.
pace.
I know.
Pluggies. Here come the pluggies.
It can-
Now I'm losing my mind. 7:28. I mean, I'm going crazy. A plug. Okay, yeah. Comeuppance is the website, and also under Facebook under that name, we have a new review up. I posted it. Soldier's Fortune. You've got Gil
Nice.
Gerard, Dan Haggerty, PJ Souls, and Charles Napier. Very limited Charles Napier. Not as limited as Center of the Web. But it was getting close when we were watching it the other day. It's
Yeah.
like, is it Center of the Web? It's like, well, you've seen Center of the Web, right?
No, no, I don't think I have.
Oh my god, it's the AIP classic. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say it's very light in the Napier. But yeah, it was okay. I mean, like kind of Gil Gerard. I don't even know who that is, or you've seen him before in other movies or shows.
I probably Guild's right. Yeah, I don't know.
Kind of like a standard kind of nothing guy. He
Yeah.
kind of looks like George W. Bush in it. It's kind of funny. He looks like George W. Bush and Belding put together.
Nice. But there
Belding,
are a lot of Soldier of Fortune movies. There are,
but yeah, it's a soldier's fortune.
yeah. I think Tim Abel is in multiple of them. He's in.
That's true.
He just keeps doing Soldier of Fortune movies.
And of course, Christian Slater and the best soldier of fortune.
That's yes. Oh man, yeah. That's one of the things I think for people when you're making movies nowadays. Keep in mind that like we need to be able to look your movie up online.
That's a
So
good, and have
yeah,
a fight. We can talk about it on our respective podcasts.
exactly, exactly. So yeah, so make sure
Uh,
you give your movie a title that's easy to find.
that's very true. Don't call it like Soldier's Fortune or The Fortune or Heist or something like that or anything like
Right,
that.
right, exactly. Yeah, give us something we can find.
Play, it's like
But
something
yeah,
or
and-
Siege. It's like
right,
don't
exactly.
call it Siege.
Yeah, how many Siege movies are? I know exactly. Yeah, yeah, obviously Pursuit we're doing today
Pursuit.
has there's multiple pursuits out there. So,
Well, the
but
Siege is classic, the Denzel Washington thing, which what is it? Shred the Constitution just a little bit. It's over. It's like, it's like free torture in general. It's over.
right, right, exactly.
It's 90 seconds of brilliant speechifying by Denzel. Oh, plugs. Yeah, so we've posted Soldier's Fortune today. It's on Facebook under the website name. Ty Comeuppance on the Twitter X. Ty Action Rocks on Instagram. Now, I haven't posted anything. I posted Satan's Princess a few weeks ago. I'm still
Mhm.
slowly watching tapes. So people are
Okay.
waiting. I have tapes. I just have to watch them. But coming soon, I'm going to post Soldier's Fortune. I'll post that because I got it on VHS.
Oh,
It
nice.
looks cool. And Lady Killer I watched has Mimi Rogers.
Mm,
I'll post that soon. Wow, mediocre movie on screen.
right,
And
right.
I'm in the middle of watching Mikey. Remember that's a horror movie.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Um, and it's directed by the guy who also directed Double Identity with Val Kilmer.
Oh, nice. Yes.
That's Stella Warren. No, it's Isabel Miko. They look the
Right.
same. But yeah, those are my plugs. What are your plugs?
All right. Yeah. Well, no. So I usually do mine. I do my cold open with plugs, but
Oh, nice. Cold
yeah.
open.
So yeah, I've got my. But I mean, hey, I could always plug again. If you want to check out my newest book, Nadia and Aiden, that's available on Kindle Unlimited, paperback. Always happy when people grab one of those.
I saw the cover. So is someone playing the saxophone in it?
Right. So there's it's about fraternal twins, Nadia and Aiden, who are traveling the United States. They're originally from France, but their mom's from America. So they're getting in touch with their American heritage and they pay their way through America. They play music. So Nadia plays the saxophone, Aiden plays the trumpet, and so they play like jazz, like covers of popular songs and stuff like that. And they kind of become a phenomenon as they're traveling across the United States. They kind of when they get to Vegas when they start doing their own shows, like they become a big deal. Takes place in '08, so it's kind of a different kind of viral thing.
all these books you write are like perfect for movies. It's
Right?
like
I know,
you got
I know.
Bainbridge, you got Nadia and Aiden, you got with Don's House in the Mountains.
Mm,
It's like these are
yeah.
all perfect movies.
Yes, they'd be, yeah, it would be nice if, and I would be happy if someone wanted to adapt them and give me a little money for adapting them. That
I watched Bainbridge. You can even get like Michael Paré as Bainbridge.
yeah, yeah, he could be a good Bane. Yeah, I'm thinking about trying to write a second Bainbridge book. So I was gonna maybe make something that's kind of a little bit based off of like Showdown in Little Tokyo. Um, something like, but kind of up it a little bit more. So like have ninjas and stuff like that. Like make it even a little bit
No,
crazier.
can
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah,
But
yeah. So
I
I just got to write it. I just got to do it. So I guess once you get the first, it's one of those things with writing a book where it's like you do it the first time and you're like, okay, I did it, and then you got to get back on the computer and do it again. It's like always, it's like starting at the bottom all the time.
right,
So
almost start from the beginning again. Like, but you don't have writer's block, or it's just like I always have writer's block. It was like it's like
yeah,
it's
it's
podcast
hard. It's
reviews too. It's like,
yeah, especially like when you watch movies and you're trying to write reviews on them. It's easy to like think of all these great ideas, but you're trying to enjoy the movie. So you think of these great ideas, and then when you actually get into writing it, you're like, oh, I forgot to mention this one thing, or like, what was that thing that I wanted to talk about in here? I can't remember it now. I might as well just do another paragraph.
that's the fun thing about these podcasts is that you can just kind of talk your feelings away. It's like it's
Exactly,
like
exactly.
you can say whatever you want, and
Yeah,
you say wacky things or whatever, or your points are made. Sometimes when
yeah,
you write stuff down, you forget, or he's like, "Oh, right, didn't do that."
yeah.
But podcast is really
No,
free. It's like,
exactly. It's kind of a free form thing where we do a couple hours, which we're kind of at that point now. I guess
wow,
we
yeah, look
got
at
to
that.
we wrap it up here. Well,
Wrap it
yeah.
up.
I mean, thanks again, Ty, for coming on. This was a lot of fun. We got Cusack on the skids here.
I think on the Skids, yeah. Well, he was Skidsy in both movies, and I guess our next two movies are picked, by the way.
Right. So are we thinking about doing the Dylan Sprouse?
Oh, wait, we doing Dylan Sprouts, or do you want to do
Oh, we could
uh
do Taking It Rio Bravo and 12 to
and Twelve to
Midnight, which
Midnight?
are on
Yeah,
Shumo. We could do the Shumo double feature. Is
the
it
Schumann
Shumo or
will be on
Zumo?
Schumann.
Yeah.
But
I
it
don't know how you
worked
say
that I
it.
did the app. We have
Yeah.
to do Dylan Sprouts next time, I guess.
Yeah.
Dylan
We'll
Sprouts
keep
on Netflix.
we'll keep
So
pushing Dylan Sprouts. Yeah, if he's on Netflix, he'll be there for a while. So that's a
we
good
don't
point.
have a partner with Dylan Sprouts unless you want to watch that weird Kevin Spacey movie. It's like
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Or we could even do that 2016 one we were just talking about, the James Remar.
decommission. You want to do? Oh, we
Yeah,
do Dylan
that would be
Sprouts and decommission.
that works. Yeah, I think that would be a
Oh, so we
perfect
have
one.
the
So
next four movies. Wow.
wow, so we are really, yeah, and I
That's
gotta
amazing.
catch us up on the link to the letterbox that has our movies that we've
Oh,
reviewed
okay.
on it. I've got to catch us up. I think I'm an episode behind, so I gotta
Oh,
update that letterbox with all the movies we've been reviewing.
so
These two
last.
movie episodes we do.
So you do Fortress 2 and or Das
R-
Kumite yet?
Yeah,
Like
I've got to put those up as well.
okay.
Yeah, and I think even the episode before that, I don't know if I did Turf War and yeah, I mean the
Oh,
crazy
Raisinette. You didn't put Raisinette, but Turf War and Blood Money.
exactly right. I think I don't know if I've got those ones up. Yeah, so I got to catch us up. I got to get that letterbox caught up. Yeah, I wish there was a way to automatically do it, but there isn't. I gotta get in there
Oh, is
and
that
update
automatic?
those.
I mean, like you have to do it separately, right? But yeah, I think it was Turf War, Blood Money, and then it was Alec Baldwin and the Skids,
Oh,
and
that's
then
right. Okay, so Turf War and Blood Money are up. I think it's Baldwin on the Skids, and then the one
yeah.
we just did. I think I'm behind on those, so I got to get
Oh,
us
okay,
caught
so
up on those.
97 minutes and Crescent City, and then
Yeah,
Fortress 2, Last Kumite, and then these two,
and then
Pursuit.
these two. Yeah, so yeah, so
Yeah,
hopefully by the time this episode goes up, when you're listening, it will be all caught up by then. So
excellent. And we have
fingers
next four
crossed.
movies booked. I can't
We're
believe it.
we're already yeah we know where we're going for the
That's great.
through
I can't wait to
through
watch
May,
next
I
four.
guess, or through June, I guess, at this point. Yeah,
That's
so
amazing.
yeah.
Oh, that's right. We got to deal with our Skype stuff by then, but we'll figure that out.
Right, we'll be on to something else. Yeah, so for behind the scenes stuff, people listening, Skype is
Yeah.
going away. A lot of us do podcasting through Skype. It's a lot of us use it for that, and yeah, they're getting rid of it. So we'll see. Maybe Jitsi, the free
Jitsi or
crowdsourced version. Yeah,
or Microsoft Teams. They're trying to
Teams
push
is
me
the
on.
other one.
They
Yeah,
want you to move over to Microsoft Teams. Like, well, I guess if it's easy.
yeah. The only thing is, I think that Teams, they cap how long you can record for.
That's interesting. See,
Yeah,
Skype is like we're doing this for 2 hours and 15 minutes.
yeah.
So like there's no right. Oh, the cap, yeah.
I think so. It'll be interesting. We'll see what
Like no
happens
cap.
there.
What Ben Shapiro says, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Oh god, not that again. But like,
Exactly.
I'll let
Exactly.
people go before I fall into that trap.
Yeah, no worries. Well, thank you again, Ty, for coming on. This was another fun one.
It was. It really was.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
thank you everybody for listening. We'll be back soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye, bye.
Director Leo.